gonna see if it works. I hit go live, so
Oh,
I don't know. Yeah, it's not working.
it's fucky.
Yeah. Hello.
Well, yellow's not the worst it could be. Now
It's
it's
red.
bad.
Yeah, because I opened Elden wrong.
We might not be able to stream. I
Well,
don't really know why. Let's see what it looks like. People, we're experiencing issues with the stream.
if that wasn't obvious.
I thought it was a bitrate problem or a frame rate problem because we're just dropping frames left and right. This is what seems to be the issue.
I wonder if that's still happening. Oh, it's green.
It's
I think
green?
it's green. Yeah, it's
I mean,
green.
the computer connection says excellent.
Okay.
We
Yeah,
might be in business, people. This might be happening. Check the audio,
Tony,
make
if you're
sure
still
that-
here, we fixed it, like you said.
The audio is good. In fact, it sounds really nice. Okay, well, I guess we're live streaming. Sick. We were like about to give up. We were about to hollow. We were about to go cold.
Become tarnished.
Yeah, we were about to be fully tarnished, I guess. I don't know if there's like a
B.
metaphor of being as tarnished as you can be, like with the hollowing.
I'm in the place where you find the dung eater.
Oh shit! Isn't this place like some kind of nightmare hell? Of
Yeah,
like
it is a
prison?
nightmare hell with big. What is it? Big Mama. What is that? What does he say? Big Mama like father like son. That's what he calls him. What's his name? Rangtang? Dangtang?
I have no.
Dark Tark.
Oh, Dark Tark.
Dark
yeah.
Tark. He's.
Yeah, he's a really good YouTuber. He's seems like he basically just did like shitpost YouTube poop type videos about like Shin Megami Tensei and Persona, and then
Elden Ring.
And then Elden Ring came out, and he started making more like jokey analysis and lore description video type stuff. They're very fun. Do recommend. I'm gonna go advertise the live stream on Twitter real quick. Tell people about things.
Well, how's it going, ladies and gentlemen? I'm playing Elden Ring currently. I just stumbled across the place that I happen to know has the Dung Eater in it. His corporeal form, as he calls it. And so I'm going to go see if I can find the Dung Eater. Oh no, not this. I hope I don't get hit by this. That plant shoots lasers somehow. But yeah, other than that, I'm farming runes to upgrade one of the black knives from the Knight of Black Knives, just so I can have a cool... Oh, I think this is him. I think this is... Oh, the hands. Damn it.
The hands. Cosmos says, "Hola, B." Hola.
Hola.
Olivier Monin says, "Hey, Trixie." Hey. Or maybe it's Olivier. I don't know how you pronounce that. Sorry. Jeff said, "R.I.P. frames." Is it like that again? Is the stream bad right now? Hold on, let me get...
Well, it's 30 frames, remember? We turned it down.
Well, we did turn it... Yeah, we did reduce it to 30, but, oh, it is really bad. It is really choppy. Yeah. I don't know if we can fix it. Trixie, can you ask Bird if he knows how to identify a personality?
I actually didn't hear that message or see that message because I have it blocked on Twitter.
Oh, it was something I said.
Oh, but just the message, you know,
Oh.
all that. Yeah, I couldn't.
You couldn't
Couldn't
read the
parse
whole
it?
thread, yeah. But do you know how to identify? Oh, no. Well, in the context of the thread, my point was that Michelle was saying that identity is chuny, but personality is real. And I was like, well, how do you identify a personality other than
Aren't
to describe
identity
it
and
as
personality
an identity?
kind of
They're
two
the same
sides of
fucking
the same
thing. Yeah,
coin?
exactly. That's the point I was making, and I had to explain that because she was like, "I don't understand the question," and I was like, "There's no." To me, it is like the funny thing is, she said, "I think I'm too neurotypical to understand the question." I'm like, "Well, the point of the question is that it's really autistic to think there's a meaningful difference between personality and and identity. Like, an identity is a description of a personality. Like,
Sure.
I understand that what she's criticizing is people who like formulate a specific identity that they're like, I'm going to base my actions off of the fact that I have identified myself as this person, and I think that is obviously that's worth criticizing. But the framing of it as like there's this like a lot of people's identity is being a personality, like it's being this particular, like I don't know. Most people who have like a very charismatic personality have developed that, like they've put effort into being the person that they are, and so to me that is not different from an identity. It's just that you're not talking about it the same way. Like, the chuny part is the autism of how you do your personality.
Actually, now that I've thought about the question, I guess the simplest way to answer it is no, I can't see it. It is not a real thing.
Yeah.
It's not tangible.
It's just not. It's not a personality and identity. Neither one is real. They're both just descriptions of a pattern of, like, reality that you've noticed. But you ascribing any kind of label to that is divorcing it into the realm of fantasy at that moment, And so, like, oh boy, the roundtable hold is fucked up.
Yeah, I've beaten the game at this point, so I'm just running around doing post-game stuff.
Yeah, we're in post-game, y'all. This is all spoilers all day. The loathsome dung eater is the only guy here. That's how you know that's how everybody knows shit's fucked.
It is time to free the dung eater.
You can just call me Oliver. Alright, that works. It seems like our stream looks pretty good right now. It says our bitrate is lower than recommended, but that is probably what's keeping the stream healthy. So they're like, we recommend 4500 kbps, and I'm like, that didn't turn out very well for us when we did that. So
here's 200 or 2000. Whatever.
Yeah, it's 1500. I think I put it at. It's pretty low, but it's working. We're here for now. I don't know why we had no troubles with the last couple streams that I know of. Like, they weren't amazing quality or anything, but I had the bitrate set pretty high. I don't know why we just suddenly decided we didn't decide. I don't know why the computer or internet or whatever the problem is decided to become a problem now. But hopefully it stays somewhat smooth, even if it looks kind of like ass.
I mean, they can still hear us consistently.
Yeah, the audio sounds great, which is hopefully all anyone's here for, is to chat and listen to the conversations, because the game is just there to be mindless.
Because I'm not good at video games.
It's just not a game. The game is not the central focus of the stream. It's something to have on the screen that is that you can look at and kind of passively be like, all right, there's stuff happening I can do with my eyes, but like mostly you're gonna tab over, you're gonna look at something else and just listen to the audio, but then when you tab back, it's not like, oh, I'm just staring at a blank screen listening to fucking disembodied voices. It grounds it with like a sense of reality, of place, of being in the same place that we are, because we're all in this tunnel together,
All in the tunnel with the dung eater.
Yeah, alright. We don't seem to be lagging anymore, but we only have 15 viewers. So I gotta figure out how to convince people. Well, so there happens to be 3 failed streams that are all still up. I'm gonna go ahead and
I would take those
all
down
of
if I were you.
Let's go ahead and make that private. There's like 4 uploads of Rest and Recovery and Elden Ring. 3 of them are 7 seconds. I see this happen to other people all the time, and I've seen people not take down the other ones. And it's so frustrating, because you're just like, oh, my whole feed is this idiot's failed live stream now, and I just did that to people. But, you know, once you've tidied it all up, maybe it looks a little bit more convincing. Like, oh, okay, they've solved their issues. They know what they're doing now. It makes you want to come back. This is my theory. I'm constantly theory crafting the audience experience when I'm not getting immediate feedback on it. It's like, I don't know what anyone's thinking, so I'm just going to make up what I think they're thinking and tell them. And then if they disagree, they can let me know.
I almost got his dung ass.
Whoa. Live 2D.
That's not the chat.
You're right. I went to Twitter to try to advertise more. We got 21 viewers. George Ripley, is B willing to do rants that require research, or is it only what can be answered on stream right now?
How much research? Like...
I mean, if you're, like... If I can do the research right now in an entertaining way on stream, if by research you mean like read a Wikipedia article, if by research you mean like watch a show, no, I will not do that right now, because I won't remember. I won't remember to do it later, and I don't know where I would deliver that rant. This is for immediate rants on stream. The stream's bitrate. It's not the best, but it's okay. It only chugs when you're going down ladders. Insane Idiot says, yo. Allie says, oh, hi, Yig. Hi.
Hello.
Clear Quartz had said of our identity argument earlier, identity and personality are the same thing viewed from different angles, or that's how it looks from where I'm sitting. Pretty much, that's, I think we agree.
I agree.
Let's make this live chat also. I feel like Rest and Recovery and Elden Ring are contradictory. Yeah, that's...
Well, I'm the Rest and Recovery.
That's what I was going for. I thought it would be funny to put those two, to juxtapose the idea that you are in Rest and Recovery because you were sick for the last couple of days.
Indeed.
With the horrid, especially this area, which is like the least restful, most awful, stress-inducing level of the entire game, which I didn't even know you were going to be here, but it does add, it adds to the comedy.
Yeah, it's pretty fun.
Sometimes I feel like I like irony way too much, or like it's too natural. Maybe it's just from being born in the early 90s and like growing up in a culture so steeped in it. You know, Beavis and Butthead was my first show. It was the first thing I really remember being a fan of as a kid. Dung Eater wants to kill you. Why is he against you?
Because I attacked him, yeah.
I see. He is a loathsome fellow. I wouldn't probably want him to be alive for very long in my game's universe. But, yeah, like, you know, I think to me, when something is like ironic, it's always obvious, and I feel like that's not the zeitgeist anymore. You know, I feel like people assume things are going to be sincere or like represent exactly what they mean now, because otherwise it's like, well, why did you waste my time? Like, why did I have to be a step removed? Why did I have to think about this? You know, like you could have just given me the juice. And it's like, well, you know, sometimes the point is in the thought, is in the fact that you had to take a step back, think for a second. That's what makes it attractive. That you look at it and you go, wait a minute, what the fuck? Oh, I get it.
Oh.
And then that's why you think it's cool, because you didn't get it immediately, but you figured it out and it made you feel smart. That's, I don't know, that's what is appealing to me, at least, is when I see something that I'm like, I don't get it right away, but it seems interesting, and then it turns out it is interesting. That's always a plus. Does this stream turn out to be interesting? Probably not. You click on it because you're like, Rest and Recovery and Elden Ring, that's weird. And then you listen to it and you're like, oh, it's just a live stream. Dumb. But that's fine, because we're here to have fun and play the Elden Ring. Well, you're playing Elden Ring. I am in a chair. I've been nonstop pressing on my lower back for days now.
Yep.
Bird's sick of it. He's like, oh no, you've become an old lady at rapid speed. I understand why Genkai walked the way she did now.
Who?
In Yu Yu Hakusho, the old lady who trains Yusuke is named Genkai, and she like walks hands balled in fists behind her back in like a way that keeps your back straight. And I remember in middle school one time I was copying that way of walking around the library once, and some kid like pointed it out, like, "Hey, he's walking like the old lady from Yu Yu Hakusho."
That's not a sentence I believe a middle schooler ever said.
It's true, and that was the weirdest part to me because nobody else acknowledged what he was saying. Because think about this, and I did even at the time. That kid knew Yu Yu Hakusho.
Yeah.
I was like baffled that he would have made
And
fun
was
of me
making
for it.
fun of you.
Yeah, I was like, what the fuck? Like, you're the only person in this entire school
would get
I've
that
ever
reference.
heard reference Yu Yu Hakusho. But like,
And you're gonna shit on me for it.
right? But it is weird what I was doing, you know. But like, imagine if he had decided it was cool what I was doing. And even at the time, I was like, man, I felt ashamed out of doing it. Like, I was like, well, I don't want to be called out by, you know, I don't want the only people who would even get this reference to feel the need to, you know, draw negative attention to it. But, you know, I definitely felt like, what the fuck, man? It's like you want everyone to think that the stuff you like sucks. Maybe that was the idea. Maybe he's gatekeeping Yu Yu Hakusho from me. That'd would make
funny.
sense. He's like, I don't want people who like Yu Yu Hakusho to be perceived as fucking weird spurgs who walk around with Genkai pose, so I gotta like root this out of the fan base. That makes a kind of sense. Elden Ring Iyashike. Completely disagree. A lot of humor now revolves around questioning whether or not the person in question is being honestly ironic. I guess that's.
I don't think. Is that humorous?
I think
don't
there is.
find that.
I think there's a lot more of like people doing sincerity, like overly sincere to the point that it comes across as ironic, and that's the irony, as opposed to just being like on the face of it ironic, you know. Like I feel like now we're more into this luring in, like, what's the name of the, as long as it is creatively, what the hell is that thing? Don't
Hug me, I'm
don't
scared.
hug me, I'm scared. Like, that's modern irony.
The bait and switch.
Yeah, something that
It's like
Madoka
cute and
Magica.
for kids,
Right.
and then it's like, oh wow, everyone's dying.
Right, but like in a way that also doesn't quite like break the universe. Like in the universe, all of it is sincere, you know. Like the only irony is in the fact that you expected it to be a kid's thing, but like, you know, the way that it becomes horror makes sense with the characters and all. It's like treating them as real people. I feel like that's where we're at with irony now. It's like it's all serious comedy, which is like the Death Note influence and Bakuman influence on culture of you know, they talked about how when the comedy is derived from the fact that the characters are taking a situation completely seriously, that is so ridiculous that you have to laugh at it. And like, you know, I think that got expanded into stuff like Kakegurui, you know,
which is ridiculous.
Right. It's like it pushing it to the absolute limit of what could be considered serious, you know, in tone, but for the characters it is completely serious. And like, I think I like this take on irony, but I also like the blunt force, just, you know, idiocracy style, like on the face of it, this is ridiculous, you know. Like you immediately get that it's ironic, and then it's like, let's see how deep we can drill into that, you know. We just got 25 Ron.
What's a Ron?
Let's find out. Ron currency is a Romanian new liu. One of them is worth 22 cents. Or, yeah, 22 cents.
Cool.
So 25 of them is worth 5.50.
Thanks.
Thank you. Jeff, can you explain why you dropped Log Horizon Season 2 to a 9 out of 10 on your MAL after having defended it as a 10 out of 10 for so long? I don't remember doing that. I think it might have been the opposite order here. I think I might have marked it as a 9 out of 10 on my MAL and then decided to start defending it as a 10 out of 10 and never changed it. Because I know I had originally marked it that way. That just seems more... But then again, I didn't actually finish Season 2 until when I was working on... or like right before I started working on my big video defending it. I don't know. I don't... I mean, I'm sure that I do kind of think that Season 2 is like marginally worse than Season... Like, I'm pretty sure... Because I never got to the end of my Log Horizon video series. That was like a big in-depth breakdown of all the reasons it's so good. But like, I think the argument I was planning to go with was that Season 2 was marginally worse than Season 1. That like, people acted like it was this... Like, the show suddenly became fucking unwatchable. But I think for a lot of those people, they just thought Log Horizon was kind of mid in the first place. Like, I could see why if you weren't into it for all the same reasons I was, why, like, Season 2 would be this huge letdown. But to me, it was like, I don't know. It continued the story in a lot of meaningful ways. I still cared about what was happening. It just wasn't as strong in the presentation. But, like, still had really great moments. Really cool shit. So, yeah. Are the rings elder yet? Where are the rings? Asks Tony. Very famous YouTuber, Tony from Hack the Movies.
I'm pretty sure video games are for children, if I remember correctly. And so you would never catch me dead playing a video game.
Oh, really? What's
Really.
happening right now?
I am not playing a video game. This is someone else playing. I'm just
like,
talking. I'm here. I'm
yeah,
for commentary.
You're just talking over footage of someone else doing this child's play that we would
Yeah,
never
I hear
engage
Elden
with.
Ring's really popular. One of my friends just beat it.
Pandaito Lee says, imagine people talking in real life.
Or is it that anime is for children? I forget. It's one of the two.
I think they're both for
Okay.
children, according to famous YouTuber Tony from Hack the Movies.
Indeed.
Sincere use of irony is great, but irony used solely for the sake of masking one's own insecurities is extremely pervasive and infuriating. That is true. I think a lot of those people are actually being sincere. Like, there is a lot of methinks thou dost protest too loudly going on in the modern internet.
It's methinks the lady doth protest too much. Thank you very much.
Whatever the thing is, I think there's a fucking lot of people on the internet who are
Protesting too much?
who's just, well, and there's more than one way. There's the people who are very insistent on, like, I'm not gay, and then there's the people who are very insistent on joking about how gay they are, but insistently not being gay. And it's like, well, you know, I was one of those types of people, personally, you know. I never saw myself
Annoying?
being with a man, and so the idea of... Okay, I used to joke a lot about sucking dick.
Yeah, you
I
have a lyric about it.
Don't... well, I have lyrics about it still that are more sincere, that are like, well, that's a thing I do now. Like, it used to be that... Okay, I guess another way to put it is, a lot of guys will talk about sucking dick like it's so unimaginable that that the mere thought of it is a joke in and of itself. And that is the kind of humor that I used to do, but when you're on the other side of having sucked a dick, then suddenly you're like, well, what is the humor in this? Like, it's not funny to imply that I would do something that I would do, you know? And I think that's honestly true for probably, like, I think if you are that obsessed with insisting on how not gay you are, it means you're thinking about dick, like, more than is normal, you know? It's like, I don't know. hope I'm making a point here. I hope everyone understands what I'm trying to say.
I think this point has been very well understood. Oh.
What's next? Bird isn't playing a video game. This is his real life. You just live inside of the Elden Ring. Well, there is mountains in this game.
There
and
are
you do
mountains.
canonically live in a mountain inside of our shared universe with the new Void Gazers podcast that is on the ASC Presents channel that we're both co-hosts on.
Mm-hmm.
And I haven't really plugged it in anywhere until now. I'm just realizing, like, there's a couple episodes of this. Could probably plug it in, like, a video or something. But we did... actually, I think we did talk about it in one of the live streams. But you're like a bird that lives inside of a mountain.
That is what I say on the podcast.
In the podcast. And so any time you're not around, it's because of some kind of mountain reasons.
I don't think I've ever given a reason. Are you guys making reasons up for why I'm not around?
I might have had some kind of mountaining excuse.
Well, thanks.
We recorded a episode of the Nude Void Gazers podcast that ended up being like 3 hours long, and so I think it's going to be split into 3 different episodes. But it's with a guest called Bat Eater, who
He's cool.
He and Riley and I are going to be starting a hip hop podcast together called Jittery Zeitgeist.
Oh, I don't know if you're supposed to talk about that.
Oh,
yet.
I don't know if I am either, but we are doing it. So yeah, look forward to that.
Yeah.
Probably not. But anyway, yeah.
You should
podcasts
be better
on
about
podcasts.
things like that.
Well, I want people to get hyped for stuff.
Well, you can just say we're talking about doing a podcast. You don't
That's
have to
true.
say the name.
There is not a recorded episode, so I shouldn't talk about it as though it is a definite thing when there is not actually content. But it is a thing that is on the way. I'm sure we talk about our intentions to make it in the episode of the the new Void Gazers podcast.
One of the 3 episodes.
One of the 3. With Bat Eater, just basically because that podcast went for so long, and we realized like, oh, we could talk about hip hop forever. So, why not do that? But Daniel McLinden says, please never talk about sucking dick, and then prayer hands. You gotta listen to the music to get that kind of insight. Yeah. What did you think of the DLCs of Dark Souls 3? I never ended up playing them. I vaguely watched Victor beat them on Digibros, but I think I was like actively trying not to take in too much of it so I could play it later. But the environments were like the coolest I've ever fucking seen. I've been really trying to not spoil myself on too much of the endgame stuff of Elden Ring, because that's where the level design seems like it starts to get to that level of crazy. And I look forward to seeing that. I just joined to sucking dick, 10 out of 10 from I. What's the normal amount to think about dick? I mean, probably not at all.
Depends
right?
on if you have one. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean...
Are you thinking about your own?
Yeah, like... Are you thinking about other people's dicks at all? Like, to me, would imply some sort of, like... not necessarily attraction, but at the very least intrigue.
Curiosity.
Yeah, curiosity. Some sort of, desire for involvement.
Curiosity killed the dick.
Asking for a friend. I forgot to read it on that last comment.
Oh.
I never ever comment on anything, but I've been watching you for years and years, and I just want to say you seem much happier lately, and I'm feeling really happy for you. Thank you.
Thanks.
I feel it's easier to be myself in life, so that's probably why I seem happier. It's
I was dodging, goddammit.
Trixie, what do you think of Neko Art? I don't know what that is. Is that like a YouTuber or something? That's what it sounds like. Hey Trixie, any plans on remaking vids about being creative, like tell as many stories as possible, or speedrunning creativity? I do not have any immediate plans for videos like those. A lot of those videos weren't that successful, or like they communicated really well with some people, but a lot of people didn't get the point or like criticized the way I approached it, so I'd rather probably change the way I did it. You know, I used to have a tendency to basically get idea, make video. Like that's used to pretty much be my way of doing things. Is like if there's something I think that I can put into words well enough to say it, then I do. And then I kind of look at the results of that and, you know, decide how I continue forward. And so, like, when I'm dabbling in something like, you know, talking about creativity, which is not, like, my expertise as compared to talking about media, you know, it's like I'm completely devising a new approach to how to do it, as opposed to basing it off of something that already exists, or like structures by which people have talked about these things. Because I haven't done any research or like been involved in a broader conversation on the subject. So it's like I can help out people who like aren't hearing anything like this from anywhere else because they're just fans of me, you know, who are like, oh yeah, I look to you for creative guidance, and you've given me interesting advice, and now I'm going to incorporate that. But then there's other people who are coming in and like, you know, this is totally meaningless to me, or I've read much better advice in you know, this and that place because I've looked into it beyond you. So I guess what I'm trying to say is I would want to figure out how to make something that was like of the same quality as other videos on the subject, instead of it just being like a vlog of like a way of thinking that just sprang into my mind and I turned on a camera and went, you know. It's a way I try not to do things as much. There's not really much else being taught in our chat here. We've only got 30 concurrent viewers. I think probably partially because the stream is still choppy as balls, but it is what it is. It gets good sometimes, but then like when there's lots of like whippy camera movement and stuff, it's a little harder. Neko Arc is the Type Moon mascot. Oh, Neko Arcade. Yeah, she's cute. It's a good design. I dig it. What's your thoughts on how the device you watch anime on and how it changed your experience? Personally, I watch live action shows on the big screen and slice of life shows on my phone. Yeah, I think you know, I think it makes sense to give thought to that kind of stuff in your viewing experience. I think a lot of people don't, or maybe don't have space to, like if you really only watch stuff on your phone because you only watch stuff like during a commute or something like that, then you're probably just not going to enjoy things that don't work on your phone, you know? And like there's really nothing wrong with that. It just kind of, you know, is the situation. I think if you were a critic and you weren't acknowledging the way that you consumed media and were critiquing things that you didn't like because of the way you critiqued it, you know, it could be a problem. But I don't think a lot of that's happening. But yeah, I do think it makes the most sense to sort of consider, like, for me, it's like what state of mind am I in has a lot to do with what kind of media I'm going to consume and on what device. But like, yeah, for sure, if I'm on my phone, I'm more likely to watch like one of those shows that's just a bunch of 5-minute shorts of comedy than like some kind of serious drama or long runner. But like Bird will just watch anything on his phone. Like you'll just marathon whole shows, watch movies, whatever. Just like it's like I happen to be here in this position and this thing has come in front of me, and so I'm going to watch it right now because why wouldn't I, you know?
Yeah. I don't know. How much does a big screen really add?
It doesn't really necessarily add that much. Like I said, I would just be more likely, because I'm on my phone, to select things that are optimized for the phone, and then like set aside to watch a movie later. But then I don't watch nearly as many movies because of it. Like, your willingness to just be like, whatever, I just want to see the fucking movie is, a big part of how you actually get them watched. Let's see what else we got here. Imagine not being down with the Elden Ring PowerPoint presentation, SMH.
What? What's the Elden Ring PowerPoint?
It's our live stream it's at the frame rate of a PowerPoint presentation.
Very good.
I enjoy the only 30 people exclusivity of this stream. It's nice. It can be nice to have intimate streams. I think like if it was 50 people, just because then there'd be enough that the chat is more consistent and I have something to go off of.
Yeah, chat talk more.
Well, the more chat there is, the more the more I can choose from. I don't have to react to only whatever the latest thing said was that I might not have much to say about. It's like you can kind of search around,
Wow, $10.
We got a $10 super chat from Clear Quartz. On the Anime Book Club forum, will there be space to recommend and talk about other type of media like books or video games? Yes. I'm still really in the consideration process of how I want to go about this whole forum thing, because like I got various responses. I got a lot of people who are like excited about the idea, have their own propositions about like how to run it and how to make it easier. Like I think the sentiment I got is that people don't want to have to go very out of their way to add another thing into their lives, and in particular to like structure your media consumption around a conversation, so I don't know, like, for me, if it will make sense for me to create like a huge ass broad forum community of like recommendations and shit, because like none of that will benefit me directly. Like it would eventually become, for me, the point of this thing is basically to make content out of it, right? Like to have a conversation that can become content that everybody who sees the content also has the opportunity to be the part of the conversation. So ideally it's as narrow as possible. So I've thought about not even making a whole forum and just using the YouTube community tab to like make threads about media I want to have like book club style discussion about, and just like we'll just have comments about it here on YouTube so nobody has to go anywhere, because the more steps removed you get, the more you're forming like a disparate insular community that doesn't actually relate back to the YouTube channel. And for me, that's the point of it. Like if anything I'm doing beyond that is overly ambitious and getting into the territory of like, working to not to my own benefit. So I'm thinking maybe it will be more like, okay, I make a community post that says, call me in 2 weeks to talk about this show. Any thoughts you have about it, post in the comments of this video. Discuss with each other, and then I do a call-in show. I combine the comments from that post with the call-ins and make a video out of it. And so then it won't be any more than what I need it to be. So in that sense, yes, there will be coverage of things other than anime, because I will select different media to cover for this, this experiment. Basically, I want to take as much guesswork out of this as humanly fucking possible, so that it's as appealing as possible to the most people possible, and it's not something you have to spend a lot of time and thought on. And so, like, I'm gonna go out of my way to try to find stuff specifically that's interesting to discuss. Like I made a list of anime that are like shows that are short enough that that you can contain all of your thoughts on it in like a digestible format. Like 13, 26 episodes, there's usually like you could have a couple hours of conversation about that and be done, unless it's a really dense show. and I'm not looking for super dense shows. I'm looking for super weird and interesting shows that would be fun to discuss, that like I think will really divide my audience and that will make people have like really different opinions. I don't want everybody to be having fun with everything they're watching. You know, like the point isn't for it to be the best stuff. It's the stuff that's the most fun to talk about. So like a good example of this would be Kurenai as an anime. It's 13 episodes. It's very strange. It has a musical episode. It's directed like an American soap drama. It's a light novel adaptation that totally fucks around with the plot of the light novel, and like there's an OVA that's more true to the light novel that feels nothing like the base show. It kind of has an ending, kind of left open-ended, never got another season. I could just see it being so divisive. I could see people who just violently hate it and people who really love it, both being in my community and both having totally reasonable reasons. Like, I wouldn't think either of those people were wrong, and that's why I think that would be a fun conversation. So, like, that's kind of what I'm looking for, is to, you know, to generate these really interesting conversations. And I think the more, like, I don't know, executive control I take in funneling that to be, you know, for the sake of a specific piece of content, the more it'll be enjoyable for everybody who ends up participating in it. Clear Quartz, oh, that's the one I just read. But yeah, I'd like to also cover books and video games and stuff like that, as long as it's not anything that's going to be... Like, Elden Ring would be too big for a book club format, because I personally can go on about Elden Ring for a channel's worth of videos. You'd also have to format it too much. Yeah, exactly.
Like, no one's going to play this game exactly the same way.
Right. And that can also be true of, say, a short hike, but that's one we could do because the game's an hour long. So it's like, yeah, everybody will have a different experience enough that, like, you know, just people describing what they did could lead to an hour. But, you know, yeah, that's literally 1/100th of the scale of Elden Ring. So, Robert Sora with $2 asked, gold or silver?
Pokemon?
I don't know. I'm going to assume just in general. I'm going to go with gold. I grew up loving silver, but I look so fucking good in gold. As I said in the song, The Bitch in Gold. But, yeah, like, because my mom never liked gold. She sees... My mom doesn't like status symbols or anything that's, like, gaudy or pretentious, basically. And so she was always like, silver's the you know, the way. And to me, they're the same. Like, they're both status symbol fancy things. Like, it doesn't make much of a difference. I guess, you know, as a kid, I was really into the aesthetic of, like, dark blue and slate silver, like slate gray. But it was really more of, like, an identity thing than really thinking that the aesthetic is, like, the best looking necessarily. And I did think gold was usually tacky, especially, like, paired with red. Like, you know, in the case of Pokemon Silver and Gold, I liked the silver design way more. That was the one I had. I thought Lugia was cool. Ho-Oh was, like, a little over the top for me. But, you know, once I grew up, and I just how fucking cool gold can be in a lot of situations. This game has great use of gold all over it, you know. I think what it symbolizes...
There are many people who are the golden.
Yeah, I think the fact that it is, like, the ultimate symbol, like, is hard to ignore. I like things that are I like things that are so obvious everyone gets it, you know? That's why Yig Studio is the World Tree. Like, it's the most obvious symbol that I relate to, that I like, that has something to do with my approach to media. So, like, everybody knows what it is as soon as you look at it. That's what I wanted from it. So in that sense, I like gold because, you know, as the Vizier would say, I'm lit as ice is cold. If you don't like me, you don't like gold. As ice gets... I'm lit as ice gets cold. If you don't like me, you don't like gold. Yeah, it's just like, you know, how can you not? How can you not like gold? Are you gonna sit there and tell me you're the hater who doesn't like gold? My mom would do that. My mom has that level of contrariness. I don't. If there's a way that I have rebelled from my own mom, it's that
I prefer more
I'm less
expensive
contrary. Like platinum.
Yeah.
Platinum is also sick. You know, platinum to me says like sensibility over status. You know, it's like
Why?
because it's just it's like only those in the know. It's not instantly recognizable like gold is.
Oh.
Like you'd have to know that it was platinum, whereas like there's just nobody who hasn't heard of the power of gold. You know, like you can say gold to someone who doesn't know very many words, and they'll probably get what you're talking about. You know,
Someone who doesn't know very many words.
yeah, like if you're like from a society that doesn't use a lot of language, you know, like a tribal society with only so many words for things.
Or like, what if you went to like some kind of tribe and gave them American candy?
Yeah, we were watching a video the other day of some white American dude just like going to Africa and giving
American.
people. That's right, he did have an accent, didn't he?
I don't know. I just don't know that he was
remember.
American.
Well, he was walking around in Africa just giving people candy. And they're all like, this is really fucking sweet. This is ridiculously sweet. This is not normal. How do you feel about Toradora these days? I haven't watched it since, like, I don't know, 2014. So, I don't have an opinion. I don't have an updated opinion. I haven't decided if I think Bird would like it or not. I guess we could give it a try sometime. But like,
What's Toradora?
it's a cute romantic comedy about a guy who, the main guy looks like a gangster, so people are afraid of him, kind of like the guy from Angel Densetsu that we tried to watch that time.
Angel Densetsu?
That dude with the scary gangster face, and like the whole show is just about how he was a really nice guy with a scary gangster face.
Huh.
We only watched like a few minutes of it, but so main character Ryuji, his dad was a mobster, and his mom's just kind of a slut, and a layabout. So he like cleans up their little apartment and stuff, and he's just like a very fastidious type of person, but everybody's afraid of him because he has a scary face. And then there's Taiga, who is this very small girl with a very bad attitude, and they call her the Palm Top Tiger because she's just, you know, she's a cute little thing, but she's mean as fuck. And the two of them basically are both in love with the other one's best friend.
No. Well, that's
No
fine.
data. I'm seeing no data.
I guess we're done streaming then.
Wait, don't do that yet. We gotta make sure that, because it's not caught up to current times yet. Oh god. Now it's at poor again. Let me see what the audio's like. The two of them. The audio's consistent. Are both in love with the other one's best. I'm trying to like. It's just now getting to the part where it had outright said none. Okay, so that was only the video was lost. The audio was not lost. We can keep going.
Okay.
Even through these hiccups, I guess. If people don't mind the fact that the video will literally completely fucking disappear on us because YouTube is not receiving enough information. The stream is back for me. Was the stream actually gone? Like, did the stream full out disappear for you guys? Because from my perspective, it just like went black on the screen, but the audio was consistent. Clavis Beloy with €2 says, how much for a rant? Also, DVD or digital purchase? Basically, you know, if you send a super chat and you ask for a rant, I'll do a rant. You know, it costs more based on how many words you want to use on YouTube, so that kind of imposes a limit in and of itself.
What's the minimum they can pay for a rant?
I mean, he's about to get one for €2, which is the minimum that you can type words into YouTube for. So
there we go.
DVD or digital purchase? Digital purchase, but if it's something that those are the two options, then illegal download is more like I'd rather just give them money separately than paying for a digital file, like, it's really difficult for me to convince myself to pay for something that I can so easily get for free. And like, I used to buy DVDs of basically my mentality when I got into watching anime that was pirated is that, like, if I like it, I will buy it. It's a try before you buy mentality. But at the same time, sometimes you like something, but not so much that you want to spend, $120 getting all 4 DVDs. Devu had put me into a mindset of basically, like, if I give something, like, if something's a 10 out of 10 for me, if it's something that, like, I really care about, then, sky's the limit. Buy whatever you see that you like. If it's, like, a 9 out of 10, then if you see something really cool that you want to spend a lot on, then maybe you will. But ultimately, you should spend like $50 or something as like support for the show, and it whittled down to, like, if it's a 7 out of 10, maybe buy like a $25 thing or something, like, whatever monetary amount reflects the emotional investment you have in the story. Like, it's difficult to put that kind of thing into numbers like that, but it also makes more sense than, like, having to buy DVDs in order to watch something, which is how it was when I first got into anime, which doesn't make sense because, like, well, that's not how it's supposed to be seen. Like, it's meant to be a TV show that you decide whether you like or not, and then you spend money on it, So, like, when it comes to then spending money on the thing, like, if I am trying before I buy, well, the DVD isn't what I want to buy, because that's something I can easily get online for free, and, I've also already watched the show. I might not even ever watch it again. So, like, I'd rather buy something else, something, some other character good or something related to the show, or find a way to just straight give them money, which doesn't usually exist, unfortunately, with anime. Quite frankly, I haven't spent any money on anime in a while. I don't remember the last time I, like, spent money on an anime thing, because I just haven't had that kind of extra disposable income to throw around. I like to think that I have a symbiotic relationship with anime where I get it for free and I give it promotion for free. So we both benefit from our relationship. Somebody will pay for the fucking thing and I'll help you find them. Yeah, the audio almost never drops, just the video. Froze for me, it only froze and gave me a loading symbol. Okay, that's not so bad. Hello, wild neighborhood witch. Always nice to join a stream. Hello, masterpiece. If it's 1 out of 10, then throw all the money you can at them. They clearly need it. Yeah, that's true. That is a good idea.
That's funny.
It's the relationship between money and art is weird and unfortunate, and it's like I hate that it comes down to, like, did I like this show or not? Like, I'd rather just be supporting people for doing art at all, like, you do whatever you want, and but you're cool and I want to support you in the endeavor, and so, like, when you're supporting, like, a whole studio, it's like, independently, I respect all the people who are working there and, like, and what they're doing and their input and everything, but, like, holistically, the machine that they have put themselves into is something I don't like or want to support necessarily, and it's very hard to contribute to supporting people who are inside that machine in a way that doesn't support the way the machine is. It's hard to, like, protest vote with your dollar in support of people who are ultimately choosing to be a part of that thing, and there's only so many people who really can have independent careers, like, who are sustaining themselves enough on, like, just their innate talent. But I do feel more comfortable supporting people like that, where it's like I recognize that this person's like existence is just precious in a way. Like, oh, we got to support them because their art has to exist, you know. And it's hard to feel that way about a whole conglomerate of people who have created a thing, especially when you don't really know who did what, or you know, like, who deserves to be on that payroll, who really busted their ass. And ultimately that stuff all gets rewarded within the industry when it's healthy, you know. Like, the people who need to know who is good and who is bad on the production will find out, and that's how you get other jobs and shit. So it's really not like our place to even have an opinion on that stuff. I just think, like, you know, when people are in an industry, it's up to that industry to support them. It's not up to the fans, you know. But when somebody's not in an industry, then it is literally up to the for me, it's up to y'all, you know. Like, my well-being is dependent on how well I can maintain my relationship with my audience. So, you know, it's if I'm not entertaining or likable or you know, making good stuff that people think is worth supporting financially, then that's on me. And if, you know, if I do make it and I succeed and I make a bunch of money and I can do all kinds of fun stuff, it's because of the audience, you know. It's that they thought it was cool, not that I ingratiated myself to somebody within an industry or whatever, or, you know.
Not yet.
Yeah, not yet. I don't know what industry I would even belong to, though.
All of them.
We'll find out. The best otaku thing you can buy is conventions. Yeah, conventions are fun. And I spent way too much money at them when I was younger. I want to, like, at some point do... I don't remember. Somebody gave me an idea for this and I already forgot it. But I was going to talk about, like, going to Otakon for the first time for my 16th birthday. My dad gave me, like, $500 of spending money, which is preposterous. Like,
no, it was great.
It was exciting to me, but I spent all of that money on anime stuff.
Yeah.
That like...
What were you supposed to spend it on?
I mean, I was supposed to spend it on that, but, well, I think my dad's mentality was more that I would be doing... Like, when you go to a convention as an adult, part of the appeal is that you are exploring the place where the convention is.
Yeah, you get to hang out with other adults.
Yeah, exactly. It's a place you go to, like, meet people who you know online or something, or, you know, other enthusiasts, or just meet people right there, you know, get to know the city, have parties. There's all kinds of shit going on, you know. So, like, $500 can carry you in a lot of different directions at a convention. I probably would spend $500 on a convention weekend right now, but I would probably spend more on the hotel and less on anime crap. I would probably spend more on food and less on anime crap. I would probably spend more on going to the aquarium and less on anime crap. Any of that would have been more memorable of an experience than, you know, like, there was nothing experientially different about going through the dealer's hall every time I've been to Otakon and looking at all the stuff and then having that stuff in my house. Like, by the time I'd been there the third time, I was like, why do I need to bring any of this home with me? I remember seeing it. I remember seeing the figure here. It was exciting when I saw it here. It was not exciting when I saw it for the 600th time in my house, you know? So, like, if I had spent that $500 on exploring Baltimore, I'd have... Now, granted, I was 16 and fucking totally terrified of anything. So, like, I was not in the mindset to venture far from, you know... And it was a mind-blowing experience in general, that first Otakon. But, like, you know, most of the stuff I spent money on is stuff I don't care about at all in the long term. Like,
yeah.
Or didn't engage with, didn't, you know, like, I bought... art books I never looked at, you know, like figures that eventually broke, a lot of stuff that was fake because I didn't know how to identify fakes at the time, you know. I'm just, cheap figure of a character I love, but, like, that's also the only one that exists, so it's just like, well, maybe I should just not own a figure of this character. I have an Eureka figure. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
I have an Eureka somewhere, and I'm pretty sure it's a fake, but I think I got that at the first Otakon I went to. Alright, let's see what's happening in the chat. I bought an album CD, but PS4 and 5 are so trash that they won't read the discs. Wow. What do you think of the impact of the Karo no Kyokai movie adaptations was in high-quality anime production? The films used quite advanced video processing for the time and still look phenomenal. Yeah, huge impact. I think UFO Table, in general, with their whole aesthetic, had a massive impact. I think between Wit Studio and UFO Table in, like, the early 2010s, they, like, really pushed the post-processing aesthetic in dramatic anime, because obviously, like, Kyoto Animation was doing a lot for Moe. But yeah, like, those movies look amazing, and I think the bigger impact they had was inspiring way more of those 7 film journeys, because, like, I had a little bit of perspective on Karo no Kyokai from reading the English translations of Faust magazines, of which there were 2 produced by Del Rey in, like, 2009 or so. And they talk about the reception of Karo no Kyokai as, like, this incredibly massive thing for otaku culture, at least the way that it was being pitched by the publicist of Faust. But, like, they were talking about how it was like, if you were in the hardcore otaku circles, like the people who care about doujin works and all that kind of stuff, like, you had to have this book. This was the most important, like, self-published light novel. And so, like, when they came to adapt it to animation, they were like, we got to make a big fucking deal out of it. This is the grand, like, by this point, Fate is already a huge deal. Type Moon have been, like, incredibly influential, so they're like, we're doing the granddaddy of it all, we're doing it to the highest level imaginable. I'm sure a lot of that probably had to do with Aoki, who directed the first one, and I don't know if he did any of the others, but he's a majorly inventive producer who created his own studio, and he's directed all kinds of stuff. I see him as like an anime J.J. Abrams in a way, that he's very good at coming up with, like, a gimmick for how they're going to do the thing and market it. And Karo no Kyokai was super successful in that. It sold extremely well. And like, not long after that, we got, like, Toa no Kuon was like a 7-film series from Bones. We got Break Blade from Sunrise, which was like 7 mecha films. I think it just became the way to handle genres that, like, still mattered to people, but those people
Chaos.
are getting older.
He's here.
Amazing. Like when Karo no Kyokai came out as a book, it would have been seen as extremely niche, but because that niche became so influential, it's like, well, now we can return to it like it, treat it like it's as popular as Fate, and I think that's kind of what they did with some of those other movies, those other movie franchises. Like, okay, well, if we're gonna sell Gundam, young people don't fucking care about Gundam. How do we make the most money out of the old people who still do? Let's make film franchises, and, like, I think it just became, like, a much stronger way for adult animation, particularly that pertains to, like, franchises that have become legacy at this point, that, like, don't have the spread but have the intensity of fandom that, the people who care really fucking care and will spend a lot of money to see a high quality product. It's the right way to release stuff, in my opinion. It's the most responsible way, and it's really unfortunate that I think Westerners haven't caught on to these in the same way they should have. Like, that, I feel like we hate it when the shows we like have to turn into a movie franchise instead, because it means
never
you have to
done
wait.
well.
It for Americans, yeah, because we have to wait forever, and then, like, only so many of them get theatrical releases, and they only get so wide of a theatrical release, like. And granted, in Tokyo, these things are showing in, 20 theaters, but, like, they're 20 theaters in Tokyo, or 200 theaters, but they're all in Tokyo, like, it's. The point is that the place is dense, and America is not dense except for in certain places, and, like, you have to live in one of those places to get to see one of those movies. So I think the film franchise anime have not been as big of a hit in the US as they have been in Japan. And also, just Americans don't spend as much money on anime, period, or anything. We just won't spend the money the incredibly dedicated otaku will. Because it was a big controversy when Kara no Kyokai was released on Blu-ray in America, because Aniplex. This was when Aniplex started releasing stuff to the U.S. as like their own distribution company, instead of like going through American distributors. And like the Blu-ray set for Kara no Kyokai in Japan was like $600, and the American release was like $450, and it was like. All these people boo-hooed about that and Kill la Kill and Sword Art Online, which were also like much more expensive than normal for American DVD releases, but way cheaper than Japanese DVD releases. And Aniplex was like, it'll be more like, these shows are successful enough that we are willing to have fewer people buy them to have them pay more money for it. And it worked, I have to assume. Dr. Lane with $10 says, haven't watched in years, but was listening to one of your albums and decided to see what you were up to and saw you were streaming. Didn't know you rebranded. Welcome back. And yeah, the rebranding effort, it complicated matters. Not a lot of people really understand what happened. So I made this mistake when I rebranded of taking down all of my older videos and then telling people to re-upload them and make archives.
Yeah, that was a bad idea.
And then when they archived those videos, they also archived previous times that I had made videos about my channel being deleted. So there are videos on something called like Digibro Archive where it's uploaded in like 2021, and it seems to be me talking about why my channel was deleted when actually it's a video from 2017 about a different time my channel was deleted. And like so there's lots of people who think that like, yeah, Digibro just like got deleted by YouTube and is now archived in all these content. I have no idea that like there's a new character and a new mythos and a new the same type of content. Dr. Lane is also trans. Amazing. There's been a lot of people who have come to my channel and told me, hey, I heard you transitioned. I did that. By a lot, I mean literally over 100, I think, at this point, I've read of messages from people who, like myself, transitioned and had been viewers, and some of them had suspected I was trans, some of them not so much. But yeah, I think it's something in the water, you know. It's like there's a reason. Are you going to stick to Yig Studio brand? IMO, as a current fan, I consider it to not be a very memorable or identifiable moniker for your work, both individually and as a collective. I feel like a specific name is a lot better than Blank Studio, which feels more general. But it's supposed to feel general. It's supposed to feel like a studio name. It's not supposed to feel like a name for my content. I'm Trixie the Golden Witch. Yig Studio is Yig Studio. You know, I understand where you're coming from. I don't think YouTube names matter very much at all. If you look at popular YouTube channels, a lot of them have nonsense names, stuff that just doesn't mean anything. Like, people aren't looking at the name of the channel except to figure out what it, like, the only reason my name is confusing specifically is that I had a different name, you know? And so it's like, what the hell is this? People show up and like, literally, what the fuck is Yig Studio? I don't know who this is or what this is. But like, you know, if the channel had always been called Yig Studio, nobody would be questioning it. I don't think it would have had a harder time getting popular or anything like that. It just would have been Yig Studio, you know, like, it does hurt my YouTube SEO for me to have changed the channel name, but that would have happened no matter what I changed it to, you know, like, I think that in terms of, it's not really meant to be as memorable as it is meant to be timeless. Like I said, I wanted a symbol that will always make sense and that will always be like applicable, you know? So it's meant to be very broad so it can last forever. It's meant to be something that you can just always recognize and everything can be tied to it, and it doesn't have to be, you know, changed to fit a different project or whatever. Like, everything that's released under the umbrella of Yig Studio is a Yig Studio work, you know, but that can encompass whatever the people who happen to be involved happen to do.
Saw a comment that said most people pronounce it YGG Studios, and that just made me think,
That's
we should
fine.
have something. We should have like an acronym. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, get good
You gonna
studios.
get it. You gonna get it, studios.
Can I get to the Halig tree now? That's what I'm trying to do here. I didn't realize I didn't have.
But yeah, I mean, like
the
when
medallion.
I tell people IRL about the channel, I usually say YGG Studio.
tree.
Like I just spell it for them.
This looks different. I think this is the Halig tree. I think this is the final post-game thing I have to do, which is fight Melania. Yeah, this looks right. Right? No. Wait. Yeah. This has to be right. Let's see.
Yeah, it's Yig Studio is meant to evoke the same feelings as like Bone Studio or
No, this is
Sunrise
not
Studio or just any old. It's a studio. It's a studio name. I do agree with you that branding matters. I think that the problem here is not that the branding doesn't work, even for my intentions. It's that it is a switch, like a violent switch that is contextually very different. And like, if I was going for the same thing I was going for before, then this would make no sense. Like, if I was trying to make the channel look like it was the exact same thing it was, but I'm not. I'm trying to not make it look like it's my channel. Even if it is right now, even if that's the way it is for the foreseeable future, it's not the way it's meant to be, and I don't want people having it in their heads that that's the way it's meant to be. Like, I want you to think it's a studio, it's a conglomerate, it can be all kinds of stuff, it can change its meaning over time, but the name will always make sense. It's a future-proofing name. If I name it after my personality and then I change my personality, well then, you have the same problem that just happened with Digibro. Does it bother you when fans still want to call you Digibro even after knowing why people often want to use what they know?
I mean, yeah, doesn't it?
It bothers me if they I'm not bothered by the feeling you have inside of you of wanting to call me Digibro, but if you do it, then that bothers me because you know what you're doing. Why, you have the ability to make the decision. Like, if it's a slip of the tongue in conversation that someone apologizes for, whatever, I don't care. You clearly realize that you haven't, but at the same time, I don't respect the lack of effort to have tried to internalize the new name,
Yeah, no, I completely understand. Beatrice.
It depends on the person too. There are certain people who, when they mess up my name,
they're doing it on purpose.
Not even that they're doing it on purpose, that I'm mad they haven't put. There's certain people who I am upset that they haven't put more effort into trying to get it right. Whereas,
anyone you want to name?
No.
Okay.
Whereas if there are, if somebody's just making a simple mistake or whatever, I usually assume it's because they're still watching a lot of my old content. That they're still more familiar with the idea of Digibro than they are with the idea of Trixie, and therefore they haven't quite escaped it. And I would even say that for the for people IRL who haven't spent as much time with me, post transition, it might be difficult as well to internalize that when you don't have memories of that. You have memories of my past self. But
I hadn't even realized, but I think Elden Ring named one of their bosses after Donald Trump's wife. Her name's Melania. This one's Melania.
MNNM says Dick Masterson still calls you Digibro sometimes. I don't think that's as true as you might think. I think Dick Masterson regards Digibro as a separate entity that is still someone you can talk about. The way that he talks about when he gets... I've met Dick in person several times post-transition. I am a very different character from Digibro, especially in person. I think that, in the Dick Show mythos, when you talk about Digibro, you are talking about the person who came onto the Dick Show and
said the thing.
The thing, like, if you talk about Trixie the Golden Witch, you're not talking about Digibro. So, like, it just doesn't make... To me, it makes more sense for him in the context that he does it to say Digibro than it would be to say Trixie. If he's referring to things that Digibro did and said on his show. I really need to figure out how to make people accept that, like, we all, like, everything on the internet inherently is fake, no matter how real it feels, and so you need to just embrace the ridiculousness of how it sounds to say that Digibro's dead.
If you're watching the stream and you think everything on the internet isn't fake, let me tell you. Let me tell you, my name isn't Bird Stork.
Right, exactly.
Or Ari Stork.
It's, you gotta, like, if you're gonna be following the internet narrative and trying to, like, take it seriously as a narrative, you have to be willing to participate in the narrative element of it. It's a magical realism is what it is. And to deny that is just to deny, like, I think people draw their own, like, little weird lines of where they think the reality ends and the fantasy begins, and it's like, you can't identify that. It's all fantasy. Once you log on, you're not in the real world anymore. You're in layer 2,
No. Fuck.
Your name isn't actually Bird, my life is a lie.
No, it is. That was a joke. But, how ridiculous would it be if my name was, like, Otter? I guess there are less otters. How many otters do you think there are?
Every time I see the witch with blonde hair, I think of Shinobu from Monogatari. Good. How many otters do I think there are?
Yeah,
Probably
just, like, species.
tens of thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands.
Really?
Probably not a ton, right?
I mean, how many species of dog are there?
Oh, are you saying how many species of them? Not how many, like, otters, period, are there?
Yeah, no, not literally how many otters are there.
I don't know. Probably, like, 3? I don't think there's a ton of different types of otters. But I could be wrong.
There's frost
I'm
roa
not
fruit.
an otter expert. Just an otter fan. $10 from Demi Lembias. Hi Trixie, I'm happy I finally caught one of these after watching a bunch of the backlog. Thanks for hearting my comment on your We Have Forgotten Love video the other day. Absolutely, and thank you
for leaving a comment worth hearting.
Yeah, leaving a comment worth hearting. That's I was gonna say thanks for the money, but
yours
is even better. I love reading comments, especially good ones.
We tackled each other's thanks in different areas.
We truly did.
Good work.
Good teamwork. Yeah, I read all the comments. I hit like on most of them unless they suck, and then I hit heart on the ones that are like, other people should read this because it will make them feel good too. Because generally, like, the when you scroll down to the comments, you're like hoping that someone is going to have already said your sentiment, and so like anytime somebody says something that I'm like, you really put into words something that I know other people are going to agree with, or that I agree with, then, I hit that heart button. It's like, yes. We can all agree you have done good work. Isn't calling you Digi seems slightly less offensive than your government name.
Well, I mean, the point is they're both as offensive, right?
I mean, contextually, if you're calling me my government name on the internet, I'm probably going to view it as an attack.
Yeah, no one ever does that for shits and giggles.
There are some people who like to try and call creators by their real name because they want to, I don't know, they just feel like awkward about using internet fake names or whatever. Personally,
like Nardwar. Nardwar kind of uses people's real names.
I mean, he's talking to like rap, but yeah, he does kind of do that. You're right.
Well, and yeah, rappers don't want their real names.
Some of them do become uncomfortable by it, like, and for me, and there's tons of internet creators who are like, yeah, just use my name because my internet name is ridiculous and silly, and like, my internet name right now is Trixie,
which is pretty normal.
Pretty much sounds like a name. pretty hard to. I mean, it is actually just a nickname of what my name is now, you know. So it is functionally kind of calling me by my real name. If you were using my old government name, then I know you're just trying to be offensive, because like why? You know, what would be the context other than to, you know, to remind whoever the audience is that my name was something else, you know. But
Hey, I got a flowing curved sword. What does that mean? Let's see how it looks. Oh, that's me getting hit with an arrow. This thing looks pretty neat. Hey, bud.
what do you think of the whole Kaon is fascist thing going on
What?
Twitter and 4chan?
Why is Kaon fascist?
There's just a lot of right-wingers who like to use Kaon iconography. I think they've selected it specifically because it's, at this point, like the draws the most attention.
Well, I know Kimball loves Kaon.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's a bit.
No, he loves that show.
Yeah, he really likes it.
I learned a lot about this from talking to Don Jolly, because he comes from the shitposting community. And,
the Fumos, right? They have all the Fumos? Because those are Kaon characters, aren't they? I've seen a lot of...
Those are Toho characters.
Oh.
I think. Well, no. Those are Love Lives. The Fumo thing is a Love Live thing, I think. Kaon's... So, Kaon was a, you know, relative hit in America when it came out, but in online shitposting communities, like, using cute girls is like, it's an ironic thing. Like, using anime cutes is almost wholly for ironic shitposting. And so there's tons and tons of people in the shitposting communities who have like cute girl avatars and stuff. And it used to be more generalized, but I think it has picked up more and more on Kaon specifically over time. Partly because the show is seen as sort of the pinnacle of the cute girl genre. It's also one that people just know, so it's easier to look into. But like, when I met Don Jolly, he told me how my videos made him understand what the sincere appreciation of anime was. He was like, you know, I had always just looked at it as this, you know, this dumb, like, autistic whatever thing that we just make fun of for irony's sake. I never really like engaged with it until my Dragon Maid video, and he saw like the humanity and heart in it, and like the actual sort of healing power of spreading cute, you know. And so he sort of changed his tack from the more aggressive, violent type stuff to more like, you know, inviting, wholesome, cutesy type stuff. And that drew in a lot of my audience who, you know, appreciates that angle of my content, and that the sincerity and the cutest justice kind of vibe. But yeah, I definitely think that it's mostly for the sake of irony. It's mostly for the sake of you know, obfuscation and masking, like, haha, I'm saying really crazy stuff while I have a really cute girl avatar.
Regardless of people using Kaon for this purpose, it doesn't mean Kaon is fascist.
No.
That's ridiculous.
No, yeah. Some people are unaware that your true form has emerged, and that Digi was another identity that inhabited your vessel for a span of years until you resurfaced, fought him. Now he's in a different realm. Nah, he just died of weed overdose. Digibro is the only person in history who overdosed on weed. He found the limit. He figured out how much you can smoke before you die, and he did it. You know, he only inhabited this vessel in between. Like, Digibro is not a full-time character. I wasn't Digibro when I was off camera, you know, like, Digibro is a camera character who died of a weed overdose. Trixie is a new camera character who is closer to the reality of who I am, but it's just another camera character. It goes away when the camera's gone, you know? Or the microphone, rather, we should say. Internet names feel way less awkward to me than using IRL or government name. That's usually true for me, and like, I usually use it as a way of knowing where I know somebody from. Like, when I first started getting popular on the internet, like, if somebody called me Digi, it meant they knew me from the internet. And if someone called me my legal name, it meant they knew me from offline, you know? And, like, that was helpful to me in interactions to be able to figure out, you know, what set of expectations people have. Are they expecting me to be the character Digibro, or are they expecting me to be the person with the name, you know? And it can act accordingly. Longtime fan, keep it up, Trixie. Also, I love the seasonal reviews you did recently, so keep going. I will. I've got another one written, ready to be edited, about Shumatsu no Harem, World's End Harem, and sexual exhaustion as explored in that story. It's like 16 minutes long, so it's going to be fun. So it's a good script. Moogie voted for Trump. No.
Who?
Moogie's one of the Kaons.
Oh.
Konata has a lot of traction from the shitposting community, probably because her personality is relatable to people in that community, for sure. Yeah. IMO, the thing that you can't change easily is your personality and unique ability to analyze stuff. Names and identities don't really matter to me as a listener. Yeah, I agree. And
Which is the point. That's right. A really great opinion, and you should be everyone in the audience.
Yeah. I mean, I went on a little Twitter thing about this. Hey, we're up to 50 viewers. We're actually gaining.
Wow.
Maybe in spite of the fact that the stream is still giving me the bitrate warning, but at least it says it's in good health. I'm going to read this little Twitter thread I posted the other day about what I see as sort of the core difference between the presentation of Digibro and Trixie content. So somebody asked me, why does everyone online say that misgendering is bad and it's not okay to do, and then turn around and call Golden Witch Fire a he? I said, admittedly, I think it'll always be hard because to the audience, all versions of me kind of exist at the same time. They can just go watch a Digibro video right now and won't see it as I do, like they're watching a totally, literally dead creator, and Trixie content isn't that different. I think how different you see Digibro content and Trixie content as being will have to do with how meaningful the ethical changes I've made, how I present my arguments are to you personally. Stylistically, it's exactly the same, it's only the ethos underlying it that shifted. How would I frame the ethical difference? Mindset driven. Digibro, I'm a child and I hate myself, you shouldn't copy me. Trixie, I'm an adult and I like myself, and I know you're going to copy me no matter what I say, so I will try to be responsible about it. So that's what I see as like the big difference, is that Digibro content was not trying to be responsible in any way, shape, or form. It was about experimentation and just, you know, getting as many ideas out there as possible, and about figuring out what I can do, you know, seeing how the audience is going to respond to the things I do, and you know, trying to have an effect. And like, my mentality was like, I can't be responsible, I don't know how, I don't have the experience, I just don't know how to be a convincing enough adult that I'm somebody people should be looking to for inspiration, you know. And I, like, obviously people did, and I knew that I couldn't stop people no matter how much I told them not to, but at least I tried, you know. At least I was out there saying, like, hey, I'm about to do a bunch of bad shit, you know, don't try to do this. But like, ultimately, you can't prevent it. You can't prevent other people from wanting to follow the experiments that you're following, you know? And ultimately they end up coming to different results, and everybody kind of has their own growth, you know, from it. And most of us don't die. We live, and we kind of look at each other and go, oh, actually, you were a fucking kid, and I should have not copied you, you know? And then we become very different adults who don't necessarily listen to each other anymore. But at the very least, you know, if a new crop of kids comes to listen to what I have to say, I think I will be able to guide them a lot better. I think they'll turn out better than the last crop of kids I tried to, you know, like that got raised on my videos. I just think, you know, 30-year-old Trixie the Golden Witch is a better parent as a creator than Digibro was as a creator. Digibro's
certainly a better
parent.
Partner.
Yeah, definitely a better partner.
Not that I was ever partners with Digibro, I just mean from what I've seen.
Yeah. Well, you know, all Digibro wanted to do was make content all the time and
Bang.
And all Trixie wants to do is like live a life that sometimes you have to take a break from to make a thing so you can keep doing the life part. MNM with 30. What is this symbol? What does this symbol mean?
I don't know. I like it though. I want to live there.
Sam.gov. A shekel sign. It's the Israeli
Oh
shekel.
my god.
It's actually shekels.
Shekels
We got
for
30
heckles.
shekels. Well, what is 30 shekels worth in?
It's probably worth like $30. I think. Oh.
It's worth about $10.
Wow.
$9.30.
Huh.
I really appreciate that you still regularly update your Mal after so many years. Do you still read Mal topics and stuff? Not that anyone's saying anything interesting. Occasionally, but yeah, like you said, it's never been particularly interesting. I've never read like a lot of Mal, because it's kind of insufferable for the most part. But like, it can be fun to read some of the reviews on shows, especially like newly ended shows. I like the Mal reviews because it can usually give you the more common perspectives. Like, this is generally what people think, because like the people writing the reviews often are not reviewers. Like, they're just people who watched the show and had a strong reaction to it and had to say something, you know. So yeah, I find those can be kind of interesting, but they're usually not very well written. And I keep up with it mostly because otherwise I would never remember what the fuck I watched. And it's very satisfying to have a checklist. Like, I'll admit that I think a big part of why I haven't consumed as much of other media besides anime has to do with not, like, having a Mal for it. And there are, like, things that are similar to that for other categories. Like, there's Letterboxd for movies, which I do have, and I had updated it up to a point. But there was, like, a whole 2-year span where I didn't see a single new movie, and I just totally let my Letterboxd, like, go to waste. I could, like, revive it and update it at some point. I have my own graph for video games. Like, I made a document. I haven't updated that in a couple years either, so it's probably, like, 100 games short. It takes a while. It takes a while to update these things if you're not, like, you know, if it's not as simple as just going to Mal and clicking +1, you know, every time you finish an episode. But I also know that people keep up with it because I have, like, 9,000 Mal friends, and there's plenty of people who will check out what I'm watching and you know, or try to analyze what they think I'm going to do, which is why I think it's really funny sometimes to fuck with people on the Mal, where sometimes I'll do things like this, where I just updated with the last 3 things I marked on my Mal. One is this Kyojin Zoku no Hanayome. I clicked on this not knowing what it was, and it turns out it's about this big Titan man who takes this this smaller, twinkier man as his bride, not realizing that, well, I guess for his race, the gender difference doesn't matter. He can still impregnate him, but his intention is to impregnate him. I don't know if he does get impregnated by the end, actually. I didn't make it that far. And then Nozoki Ana and Sprite Between Two Worlds, which are both like softcore pornography with interesting stories. So I like to... I love thinking what people are going to speculate that I watched all that for. And you'll find out. Maybe. Assuming I actually finish, you know. That's the other thing about Mal, is that, like, if you make assumptions that I'm making projects based on everything I watch, that it's like, you know, I get questions. People literally DM me to ask me about what I just watched on Mal and, like, if I'm gonna make it a project or not. It's pretty funny. I used to watch your videos, and now I'm a schizo neat. Well,
Do you blame her videos?
usually it goes the other way. Usually people are already a schizo neat, and that's what leads them to my videos. Maybe the schizo neat was living inside you, and you just needed it unlocked. Robert Sora with €5. Have you heard of Don Jolly and Cider lately? They kind of vanished. Hope they are okay. I haven't heard from Don Jolly. This has been brought up a few times, but, like, because I guess I'm the best known person to have known about him, but, like, I haven't heard from him since anybody else has, you know. I assume there probably are people who do know what's up with him. I'm not trying if he's not trying to be found, I'm not trying to put him out there, you know. If he had made some big internet return, I'd be out here like, oh, Don Jolly's back, but like I have no idea.
All right, I think.
As for Cider, I've heard from him not too long ago. I think he tweeted or something not too long ago, but he's just a busy dude. He lives a life that's not really connected to the internet anymore, so I think he's also somebody who, because when we used to do the pub crawl, in spite of the fact that only like 30 people listened to it every night, everything we talked about somehow got back to everyone he knew. Like, it was... He would get asked... Like, nothing I ever said on the pub crawl ever came back to me. The only way it would ever come back to me was that people would tell Cider stuff about me, and then he would ask me about it on the show. I don't know why. A lot of people think they need to go through other people to get to me, which is much less reliable than just messaging me on Twitter or in my comments, which I read all of, you know, like, I don't always respond, so there might be people who think I'm, you know, that it's like harder or whatever, but like trying to reach me through other people, very bad idea, because then I'm also gonna not respect you. But yeah, like, it seemed like everything he would talk about would get back to him somehow. So I think he probably just is like, yeah, it's not a good idea. Like, now that I have a life and things to protect, I don't want to be on the internet. That's typically what happens to people who grow up, and like, if you don't become a sociopathic mad person who can somehow do this for a job, then you become terrified of the internet and you go off to be a human being. For some reason, I became obsessed with listening to your 8 hours of Manga Mondays video over and over again, and you read Volume 1 of Dorohedoro in that. Did you ever read the rest? No, I did not. I have never continued it. I hear it's very good, though. So sometime I will. I think you'd like Dorohedoro.
It has been recommended to me by Netflix a lot.
I don't know if you'd like the anime as much, because the manga is really beautiful, and the anime is CG that looks okay. But the manga... I think you'd appreciate the aesthetic of it. Would you make a sequel to the old-ass anime cast? I have considered doing something like that again. Because it definitely had like a cult fan base. I've also thought about just bringing those back, because I guess I'd have to re-listen to them and see how I feel about them, but I don't think I've done that. Because... a lot of the content that I have brought back to the channel is just like, I hadn't set aside time to go back through and watch everything and decide what I did or didn't want up. And over time, I've been a little bit more lenient about what things I will repost. It's like, I don't have to completely agree with everything I say in every video I have up or whatever. And like, there's some where it shows my face, but contextually it's not me talking to the camera. So it's not like... it doesn't give you the impression that, oh, that's the person talking, you know. Whereas if, you know, anything where it's more on that side, I'd prefer to be unlisted. Oh, you're doing research. I was like, are we wrapping up, or what's going on?
No, I've been trying to figure out how to do this. I'm starting New Game Plus, because I realized I don't really want to fight Melania. I'm not going to get anything from her that I need. So if I want to fight her, I'll fight her in New Game Plus. It just seems like a hassle to get to her. I would have rather gotten to her when Gideon Ofnir was still alive and I could talk to him about it.
Jeffrey, the Austrian cyclist Holzer, says, just a quick thanks for the content you made over the last years. Thank you. For the thank you. You're welcome, I guess that's what I meant to say.
We're getting the opening intro again. So that's Marika, as you can see. She has blonde hair. That's Radigan, because the hairstyle changed. So Marika shattered the ring, and Radigan's trying to fix it. Wow.
In terms of inspiration I took from you, Kusomega inspired me to try making my own stories in the form of a webcomic. I've been writing one of the one-offs for a while, but Kusomega changed that. That's awesome. I would love to finish Kusomega. And then we can all together go, wow, that was a good story.
I like Kusomega. It's good.
It is good. I like it too. Did you ever give Aphex Twin a try again? I remember you saying you found it so robotic that you couldn't relate to it, but for me, the level of craft is what interests me. Also, yes, internet's scary. I have listened to some more Aphex Twin, and I did like some of what I heard. I liked some of the stuff that was obviously an influence on the Persona soundtrack. I don't remember what I know I listened to Selected Ambient Works and like a couple other things that was just like coming through YouTube recommended one time, and I was like, you know what? Aphex Twin belongs on my schizotypal personality disorder chart, because that's what it sounds like. In one of your old videos, I don't remember which one, you said something like the height of your videos was an 8 out of 10. My question is, how would you rate Anime Alphabet based on that? Yeah, I said I am an 8 out of 10 in general. Would I put any of them above an 8? I don't know. I don't know yet. I don't know if any of them deserves above an 8 out of 10 as a video. They're good. I think the best ones, like the Ninja Scroll one, the newest one, feels the smoothest. That's the most it's exciting the whole way through. It doesn't have like any real boring parts or stuff where it feels like, I guess what I get hung up on with Anime Alphabet is that I feel like I need to be very complete in how I talk about each show, but I'm not always super interested in being that complete. So like with Fullmetal Alchemist, for instance, like the video was very lopsided because I was really interested in talking about the differences between the 3 stories, but then they all diverge really hard, and I wasn't that interested in talking about the unique aspects of Brotherhood, because to me, Brotherhood is a story that you can almost take for granted. It's so, like, by the numbers in a way, like, past the halfway point, it's just resolving everything it's set up. There's not new things happening, it's just resolutions, you know? So it's just like this massive ending, as opposed to, the old show, which new things kept happening, but they were insane. And so all of it felt worth talking about. So, like, that was a really hard video to write because of the different, places where I was really interested in what I was writing, places where I was totally not interested, and, the overall lopsidedness of it as a finished product. So that's, like, probably my least favorite of them. Whereas, like, Legend of the Galactic Heroes went really well. That's another one where I think, like, it might be a little front-loaded. Like, that one would have been better if I could have gone into more depth about every part of the show, but I was kind of exhausted with it, and I wasn't going to, like, rewatch it, for the sake of this video.
I might rewatch it.
Well, I mean, I will eventually, but not for the sake of that video, like, that video was that was very much a first impressions video of Legend of the Galactic Heroes, like, there's so much more that can be said, whereas, like, with certain episodes that I have in mind, I might take the approach of, like, no, I'm going to be super thorough with this one, like, this isn't my first impressions, this is my, like, actual in-depth, which, Ninja Scroll would be more along that line. And I don't think I said everything that could possibly be said about that movie, because I didn't think it would be that interesting to go into any more depth than I did. I kind of let the visuals, like, show all the stuff I didn't talk about. I showed, like, every unique fucking moment in that movie in the course of that video. Yeah, like, that felt the most complete, where it's like, okay, I've said my piece on Ninja Scroll. I don't have to do this ever again, like... Fullmetal Alchemist, I felt that way as well, but I felt like I'd said my piece in less than the number of words that I actually put into the video for the sake of being complete, So, yeah, I would say that at their best, they're like a strong 8 to a light 9, probably. And the best ones would be like Ninja Scroll, Legend of Galactic Heroes, Cardcaptor Sakura. That one's pretty complete, too. The Digimon Adventure one was fun. I don't feel like it's a very deep for like a fan of Digimon Adventure. Like, obviously there's people who've talked about the show in more depth than I did, but it was fun for my own self to get perspective on the whole history of how it was made and everything, and to finally have watched it and like see what the people who I know who love it see in it, even if it wasn't like for me, like I couldn't see myself rewatching Digimon Adventure. Whereas I could easily see myself rewatching Cardcaptor Sakura, Legend of Galactic Heroes, Ninja Scroll, maybe Haibane Renmei. In one of your old videos, I already read that. That's what I was just responding to. Brotherhood's ending sucks. I don't know if it sucks. I just think it's very obvious. I just think everything that happens is very obvious.
That's so funny. Even if you kill the first boss, they want you to die anyway.
Yeah. You did it? You beat the Grafted Scion first? That's awesome. I see you just... Oh, you're on New Game Plus. That's why.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, how are you using these blood bullet attacks? Do you think you could use the high production anime film series as a skeleton for a project? As a fan of yours for a few years, I loved how you were able to paint a landscape of anime production. I feel like that's kind of what the Anime Alphabet series is, but maybe you mean like using one of those, like actually talking about one of those movies or something. Because I did that with Kara no Kyokai. These aren't up anymore, but there was a video series called 8 Nights of Kara no Kyokai where I did a different video on each movie. That's another case where kind of like there were ones where I really had something to say and ones where I was like having something to say, you know? So it's a little lopsided, but you know, those gimmicks can be fun. You just got to think through it a little bit more than the obviousness of like 8 movies, 8 videos, you know, like your anime outfit vids impressed me so much because you have insights into character arcs and dynamics that I would never think of. I'm good at picking up on theme, but horrible at reading character. I like to think that's my specialty. I like to think that's what makes my content so engaging. I guess the thing about the Anime Alphabet videos is that they're very holistic, where I'm basically trying to explain why did people react the way they did to the show. Like, that's the sort of theory behind it, is why was this thing a classic? What made it a classic? And for that, you have to have cultural context as well as react to the show itself and what the show makes people feel, you know? And so, like, I think that those aspects are all very interesting, but how interesting they are for each show can be different, you know, where, like, sometimes I really want to talk about the production background, and sometimes the production background's not interesting at all, you know. And obviously, again, I've taken a different approach with each video. I think the Ninja Scroll one was me sort of really peeling back and being like, let's not put anything unnecessary in this. Like, there's already videos that explain the cultural identity of Ninja Scroll. I have a strong reaction to this movie. I saw it when I was 11. I'm going to talk about that, you know. I think that made it work really well. It's like, this isn't about the impact on America. It's about the impact on American, you know, one singular, or 3 rather, who were in the room watching the movie. Alright. I'm starting to feel a little windy down.
A little windy down?
Yeah, how do you feel?
I'm okay.
Okay.
Could use another beer. But
I could also use...
you have another beer.
I do. I mean, have you heard about the Requiem of the Rose King?
What about... Oh, actually, real quick. I had seen this way right when we started streaming. Someone asked you if you had started watching Spy Family.
Oh, that started out. That's right.
Yeah. I was like, shit, we missed that. We forgot to watch it.
Well, because
because we had looked to see if it was out like 16 hours before it was out.
Exactly. Like, I set aside to watch it, and I was like, oh, it's not out yet, and then I guess it is now. But yeah, we'll be definitely checking that out very soon. I think Bird's gonna love that show, and I love the manga, so it should be great. L is for Lucky Star, please. I don't...
What is L for?
It could be. I think I had planned for Lupin the Third, Part 1.
Yeah, that is what it is.
But Lucky Star would probably make more sense for my audience.
Lucky Star is the K-On! People before K-On!, right?
Yes. More importantly, it's the Haruhi people after Haruhi. Because...
The melancholy?
Yeah, the melancholy of Haruhi Suzumiya. That show came out in 2006 and was a massive, massive, massive hit with the otaku community. So then they followed it up with Lucky Star, which is a show about otaku who are fans of Haruhi. So
that's funny.
Big meta thing, and the main character Konata, who is the big otaku, has the same voice as Haruhi. So there's a scene where she goes to the live performance of the Haruhi show and sees the voice actress on stage
That's funny.
playing Haruhi, and she's in the crowd being a fan of herself. It's pretty meta. It's pretty incredible. And I've talked about it. I'm in a unique position of being somebody who can give a full perspective on Lucky Star because I was there when it happened. You know, like I watched it when it came out. I know all the references because me and my friend watched it with a reference guide in like 2010 and made sure we understood everything. So yeah, I think I could do pretty good Lucky Star coverage, and it would probably be more popular than a Lupin video. As much as I would love to be able to cover Lupin, I might not be the person for it. Eventually somebody, some old boomer, will make some Lupin videos. Let's all campaign the Lupin boomers, because Lupin's like a thing that has whole fan sites dedicated to it. In fact, I've talked to the guy who ran the Lupin fan site when I made that one Lupin video. I should get him to open a Lupin YouTube channel. I'll send him $100,000 and I'll say, turn this into a Lupin the Third YouTube channel. I don't have any money.
Yeah, that money would go to buying us a truck and a house first.
Yeah. Did Hazel's Elfin Lead vid influence your approach to Alphabet at all? Your holistic approach really reminds me of what you did with that. I don't think I've seen that one. Maybe I did. No. I had not discovered Hazel yet when I started the Anime Alphabet series.
I killed the Tree Sentinel right off.
That's amazing. It's the revenge tour. That's what's so great about New Game Plus. Yeah, no, the Anime Alphabet series was influenced more by, really, I want to say Civi 11, particularly with the first
Civ's
episode.
only up to 6.
There's a channel called Civi 11 where this guy goes through like classic first-person shooter games and stuff, and basically like plays them at the highest possible level, where he does like all the crazy secret shit and all the you know. So like he explains the game, he explains its cultural history, and then he's kind of going through it and showing you like all the highest level ideas that are in the game. But a lot of it is like clips of like him playing and letting it kind of speak for itself. And so that was the approach with the Attack Number 1 video, was like, I'm going to bring you this anime. You are not going to watch this anime, I know that. So I'm going to bring it to you, and we're going to experience it together. And then, you know, I liked aspects of that, but ultimately it just made it very hard to rewatch, to have like all the clips in there. It feels too much like watching a movie. It's something you have to pay too much attention to for one of my videos. So from there, I started taking a more conventional approach. But with Sailor Moon, it was like, okay, well, in this case, I'm expecting that you have seen this show, so I'm going to, you know, talk about it from the perspective of like, well, this is a super popular thing that lots of people know about, and this is like a critique from the perspective of somebody who doesn't love the show but appreciates it, you know? Whereas like Cardcaptor Sakura is more like, I love this show, here's a holistic review of everything great about it. So the approach is always a little bit different, but, you know, there have definitely been certain influences on each one, but they're definitely built more from looking inward than outward, with the exception of that first one.
Can I have your other beer?
Sure.
You're still on that other one, right? Thank you, baby.
Personally, I dislike the perspective of impact in America. It seems like it's the only thing anyone can talk about. Obviously, it makes sense because West, but there has to be more ways to explore or work. Well, yeah, I mean, it just comes down to we don't know more. Like, without knowing Japanese, it's really hard to talk about the impact it had in Japan or anywhere else, you know? Like,
And I will say, that is at least something I'm going to work on.
yeah. In what way?
Not knowing Japanese?
Oh,
Knowing Japanese.
you wanna
That's
learn
how I'm going to
Japanese?
work on it.
Impressive. We should learn Japanese together.
You really want to go to Japan.
I do.
And so I would like one of us to know Japanese.
All I had to do to get to get Bird on board with learning Japanese is show him a video of Japanese roller coasters.
They look really
That
cool.
was all it took. Was he saw the Fuji what's it called?
It's an amusement park at the base of Mount Fuji, Fujihara Complex or something.
Yeah.
It's really cool. They've got some great roller coasters.
And that was all it took to be like, all right, we got to learn Japanese now.
Well, I've always kind of wanted to do it because I don't know, we don't really have plans to do it, but I'm never certain how, like, if we make plans to do it, how certain you're going to be on learning to do it. So I might as well just do it now and have the ability.
It'll be a lot... It would be significantly easier for me to learn the rest of it if somebody else nearby was trying to learn
that's
it
the
at
problem
all,
with
for sure.
learning other languages is no one speaks them.
Exactly. And, if we were having conversations in Japanese, we're all like, Kodomo kara otana wa dotana nanda kangaeteru ora dochi da.
Yeah, if we were...
Then you'll be all like, mara mara konda mon janai daro, and I'll be like, oh, shit.
Oh, shit. Here we go again.
Yeah, sagaso. And then we just start saying sagaso over and
Sagaso. Kuchizusa Gamania. Back in the days. Those guys would be cool to meet.
Homemade kazoku. That would be sick. I saw them a lot.
Oh,
That was good.
so you've kind of met them.
In a way, yeah. They did that Bleach song. It was neat. Japanese. Why did you bring that up again? Why did we talk about learning Japanese?
I don't know.
Turning Japanese? I'm really turning Japanese? I really think so.
What? Are you?
You never heard that song?
No.
Turning Japanese, I'm really turning Japanese, I really think so. It's an 80s novelty hit. There was this Evangelion theme park in the base of Mount Fuji.
I don't
Probably
think...
was connected to that theme park.
It might be, yeah. I don't know.
I don't know if that's still a thing, though, the Ava theme park. Shit, man, I completely forgot what we were talking about that got us onto the subject of learning Japanese for the sake of it. Like,
You're talking about understanding how Japanese people, like, anime
like the
impacted
Japanese
Japanese
cultural
culture.
response to anime. Yeah, it's really hard to, like, there's just not a lot of information that gets translated because, like, why? Like, to what end would you translate this stuff other than, like, I don't know, helping out other Americans?
You know,
who
plants
can't
are
read
pretty
Japanese?
gay if you think about it. Sorry, I just had to read that one.
Thank you, Damone. When I look back, one of the first anime that I ever watched were Captain Future and the Heidi Girl, the Alps, not even knowing they were anime a long time ago. I'm guessing that you live in Europe or South America, where those shows would have been popular.
Oh, I love it. It doesn't make you get the map again.
Oh, that's good.
But it does make you get the grace again.
Well, I guess because the map would be items that you picked up. So.
Yeah.
Um,
So all of the items you've picked up. You can't get them again, which is fortunate because there's tons of stuff I didn't pick up. I just needed more souls. I'm trying to level up.
So then it says, Heidi for me too. I'm Austrian, so I thought it was just made in a local TV station. That makes sense.
Austria seems really beautiful.
I want to go.
Not
to
the
all
best
places.
people. No, I'm kidding.
I want to go to all the places.
Yeah,
and
me
see
too.
all the things instead of just looking at Elden Ring. Pretty as Elden Ring is, it's not as pretty as Bryce Canyon.
All right, B. I'm gonna let you kind of dictate what I should do with this new game plus. How should I play it? Where should I go? Who should I see?
Go kill the dragon in the lake.
Oh, okay. Well, right off the bat.
Yeah, just go kill that asshole.
Maybe I'll try.
He's not that hard.
Let me talk to Kale.
You're tarnished. You like fine goods. Fine goods. I guess you have to repurchase the cookbooks? That's odd.
Yeah. Well, I never bought them. Is the problem.
Oh, okay, never mind.
I don't really buy that stuff. I also do this.
It's particularly the FMA video that reminded me of Hazel's take on Elfen Lied because you focused on the impact on early 2000s weeb culture it had in stuff. Yeah, I think, I guess that's more just a product of them being about anime from the same time period. Because I don't remember taking any influence from that Elfen Lied video, but, or really remember the Elfen Lied video if I did watch it. But the FMA video came together more from the fact that I had all that footage of, because it was Riley, I think, who sort of suggested, like, hey, why don't you get clips, like live action clips to put into the anime alphabet videos to add just some kind of component to it. And I was, when we were at the convention, I was like, this would be a great opportunity for me to ask people about any of the more popular shows that, like, I know the average person I walk up to and ask will have seen. And so the next couple I was going to do was Evangelion and FMA. And so everyone I went up to, I asked, like, have you seen Neon Genesis Evangelion? Have you seen Fullmetal Alchemist? Very few people had seen Neon Genesis Evangelion. Almost everybody had seen Fullmetal Alchemist. So I was like, okay. I at least got enough footage of FMA discussion. And I also had footage of a bunch of other random anime from people who hadn't seen those that I just asked, like, what's your favorite anime? And then got them to talk about that a little bit. So I don't know if I'm going to use all that footage in the future or if I'll just go out and, recapture it if I wanted to for another show like that. I wanted to do something like that for Inuyasha too, but I didn't get to any conventions in time, so that probably would have been in that video. So we're gonna be at Too Many Games in June, so I will be preparing for what? The May video is gonna be
Hey,
Erica
babe,
7.
go make sure that's not my car alarm going off. Just look out the window. It's not though, right?
No, it's not.
Cool. So
I
yeah.
can see a table full of people looking at whichever car is going up.
Okay, cool. Sorry about that. Just
Yeah, if you can hear the car alarm, then it's gone. We've got 50 concurrent viewers.
all right. B, I killed Agheel.
That means it's super chat time. You guys got to give me something to rant about. I am running out of ideas. I'm running out of beer. I'm running out of.
I'll get more beer.
I'm running out of stamina.
I see.
You guys got a lot better
Oh,
at this.
I had meant to bring this up just a second ago, actually, and I had forgotten about it. But very soon, it does appear that It's Mint Salad and I will be able to bring back What You Cookin'.
Oh shit!
And so
Are you sure you're supposed to talk about that?
I'm pretty sure.
Mister, let's not talk about shows that aren't out yet.
I don't care that they're not out. My
Right.
point of contention with your thing was that it had not existed yet. You
Right.
hadn't talked about it publicly.
Yeah.
What You Cookin' exists.
Sure.
I'm
fair,
allowed to talk
fair.
about it because it is purely my thing.
Yeah. Well, yours and Mint's maybe. Mint's invited in.
Mint's there
Mint's
to
part of the
help.
party. Mint's gonna be the helper.
Or I don't know. I don't really know. It really does depend on what
Yeah.
Mint wants to do. If she wants to take the helm on some of the recipes, that'd be cool. I'd like to make some Mint stuff. Mint makes really good toffee, and I'd love to learn how to make that. Though I'm sure she's told me how.
Landon has observed that you got a lot better at the game. That's partly because you beat it, and now
Yeah, this is New Game Plus.
this
So
is New Game Plus, where you have all of the abilities you had at Endgame at the start, so you can just steamroll through everything. You killed the dragon, right?
yeah.
Okay.
What now?
Go kill all the giants in Stormhill.
The Giants?
Yeah, up in Stormhill.
Well,
It's
but
full of
that's so
giants.
far away. Shouldn't
No, you're right there.
it's like up here?
Yeah,
I
go
have-
up there and clear
Do
out
you
all
want me
the
to go to
giants.
the cave?
Do you really want to do the cave?
I mean,
You're way overpowered for the cave.
New Game Plus.
You have the items that are in there because you still have everything you had. So I think this should be about clearing out all the biggest things in the area that maybe you were more avoidant of when you first came through.
All right. I wonder if Melina will still talk to me.
Probably,
Oh, hang on.
right? You've got 62,000 souls on you. What is
I
my
just don't know if she'll talk to you again.
current top 10 favorite albums? Oh, I'm not even getting paid to rant about that. That's a
Yeah, no, that's
big
a rant.
That's a large one.
Don't.
No, I'm not going to. I can't even think of any, honestly.
I'll give one.
Can't off the top of my head.
I'll give one, but it's not Trixie's. And that is the Fratellis, Eyes Wide, Tongue Tied.
Jeffrey, the Austrian cyclist Holzier, says 2012 I traveled Japan the Golden Boy style on a bike for 2 months. It was a great adventure for an anime fan. Saw the Gundam statue, went to the Ghibli Museum, cycled up Mount Fuji.
Wow.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah, that all sounds great.
Sick times. I will copy some elements of what you've done.
Oh, I think we should cycle up Mount Fuji. That'd be cool. How
That
far of a
sounds
cycling is
Painful.
that? Baby, you know my dad. I've cycled 72
I know what
miles.
you've cycled. I've not cycled no 72 fucking miles.
Look, I'm gonna make you do what I'm sure your dad wishes he had done with you as a kid, and that is make you go on grueling bike rides.
Grueling bike rides.
Because my dad got a lot of enjoyment out of it.
Well, I'm not a kid though.
Yeah, but it's still fun.
Yeah, but I don't have the endurance.
It's not. I mean, like, you will still be able to do it. I think.
know.
I don't know. I think it would be a lot more fun to bicycle up Mount Fuji than it would be to drive up it.
Maybe. It's so big though. It's like a huge mountain.
Yep.
Maybe if you're bicycling like in a circle around it. You know. It looks so steep. I just can't imagine.
Okay, I have Melina now.
Does anime still up? Did you lose the password or something? I just never took it down. I just kind of didn't bother.
Did you mean this guy, B?
There's tons of giants up in Stormhill, but yeah, he's one of them. Yeah, like the purpose of me delisting my content wasn't really to hide it, because obviously I told people to archive it. It was just to get it off the channel, because I didn't want to identify the channel with the past character. I just wanted it to seem like more of a clean break. It didn't really end up communicating that very well. I think if I had, instead of trying to do the way I did, which was just blanket hide everything and then go back in and try to figure out what was worth relisting.
But if you had figured it out first.
Yeah, just had decided to unlist certain things and not everything, that would have been a much smarter way to go about it.
Yeah.
But, you know.
So I know in the original game, these guys only give you about 100 souls. Maybe, actually it's like 60. And now they give you 320. That's pretty good. It's not amazing. It's still like nothing, but...
Right, compared to where you're at. Now you gotta go up and kill all the giants. Try to fight them all at once. There's like 4 of them.
I really don't want to do that.
Why not?
I just fought one and had a hard time.
Alright. But you still gotta kill them all. Just watch. I'ma kill them all. Just watch. I'ma kill them all.
Did you know there's an Everjail on top of this?
I think so, yes. I don't know if I beat it, though.
I forget who it is.
I think it's a giant. I think it's Big Man.
Oh no, it's a Crucible Knight. That's what it is.
Crucible.
Those guys are real
Another
bastards.
dark night of the soul. Jeff Burgess just re-uploaded like all the albums he ever did.
That's
You should
cool.
go listen to him.
I agree. You should.
And then you'll hear the song Crucible on Elmer Gantry.
Which technically doesn't go into public domain for another year or something. I don't know. I don't remember.
Elder James would be better with weed, TBH. We got the weed. Don't worry about that.
I could use some. Speaking of that.
Oh, well, couldn't you?
Oh well, someone who smoked
I don't-
5 bowls before we started streaming.
That's 4. I don't think we have any ground up.
Oh. Could you do that real quick?
I could. But first, I need more super chats. We've gone down to 33 viewers. We
Oh
got
my
too boring.
gosh.
We got so boring we bled 17 viewers away.
It's because I'm trying to fight this guy. Oh, I forgot I have this. There we go.
That's fun. It's a lot of animation for
It does damage over time too, which is nice.
residuals. Royalties and residuals. I was gone for 3 seconds, lol. Well, you need to be here for all seconds. There should be no missing time, because then you'll miss all the action. What action am I talking about?
With
Nothing.
the action you must get.
Exactly.
Put your fucking life on the line.
We got $5 from F and Woo. When will Bird start his cooking show? And what's Bird's favorite vegan dish?
I know this seems comedic. I am actually thinking.
Didn't we make a vegan curry or something?
I don't count anything that I cook. Like, it has to be a real thing that other people eat.
People eat vegan curry?
Yeah, but not. Yeah, I just like threw a bunch of vegetables together.
All right, fair enough.
Like my favorite. I don't know.
What's your favorite food that happens to be vegan?
I mean, everything's better with real cream and
Yeah.
eggs. So like, yeah.
Can you think of anything you eat at all that like is bread vegan?
No.
No. What's vegan? And peanut butter, right?
I like peanut butter. Yeah, peanut
Yeah.
butter and honey. Well, no, because bread's not vegan.
So the honey is counted out if there's no bread.
Oh, right. Honey doesn't count either because bees.
Yeah.
Vegans are silly.
Peanut butter and crackers. Well, crackers have butter.
They can. They don't necessarily.
Is there any kind of salad or vegetable-based dish you enjoy? What about fruits? Is there fruit?
I
Yeah,
love
blueberries.
salad with meat. I don't know. I'm sorry, person who asked.
People are saying bread is vegan. I think bread
It can be.
Yeah.
The bread I make is not vegan. I know that.
When are you gonna start your cooking show?
It depends on the next time we are in the area with Mint and Riley.
Yeah.
Because Mint is obviously a necessary part, and there's also a kitchen studio set that I've recently been informed of. That would be interesting. So it could be cool. I don't know.
We'll find
I
out.
don't have a solid answer for you.
Probably-
I apologize.
I'd expect months at the least, so not that soon, but not that long away.
All right, beat the Crucible Knight.
Vegan. I'm trying to think if there's anything vegan that I particularly like. I'm usually just okay with, like, the best vegan food is usually like, alright, you know, like, that was pretty good. There was something that Sandy gave us. I went to her house.
Oh yeah, whatever that was really good.
Yeah, she made, like, her own, it's kind of like just like an Asian stir-fry dish, right?
Yeah, I think it was just a stir fry, and it was pretty good. I don't know, like vegan stuff can be good, but I've never tasted a vegan dish that's trying to be something that isn't vegan that tastes good.
Yeah.
But like if you're eating something that's vegan that tastes good, it is very likely that it's just a bunch of vegetables thrown together and cooked in a pot with fake cream.
Will it be posted on the Yig Studio channel? No.
No.
It will probably be on the ASC Presents channel, would be my guess, unless you end up making a channel for it. All that will be figured
Yeah, I
out
don't
later,
know.
but it definitely won't be on Yig Studio. This is not a cooking channel.
They didn't like
Yig
the
Studio
cooking show
is currently
when we uploaded it
a
here.
media analysis channel and nothing else, except for live streams, where we sometimes do media analysis.
Can vegans ethically eat themselves? No, because... Well, do you mean, like, a person eating their own body? I mean, I think that would still be, like... Cause it's cruelty and pain. And I think if you were eating yourself, that is necessarily cruelty and pain.
Are you allowed to post a link to a picture of you standing on Mount Fuji with your bike? I wouldn't mind, but I don't think YouTube will let you do an external link.
DM it to her on Twitter.
Yeah, you can DM me on Twitter, and I can see it. But it won't be on stream unless you open it up. But then you can't because you're not on Twitter. You're in the cruise.
Oh, so should I just go straight on to Margit then?
Yeah, go kill Margit. Did you already call the giants?
No. I just got to that area. This place, right?
Yeah, there's like, well, you're gonna probably want to be down there. There's one that's like asleep in the earth. He's like all fiery and red, kind of like the metal one that you fought. And then there's a bunch of these dudes. The
I
metal
don't
guy
have
will
any
be
health.
like under the bridge. Thereabouts. Whack him. Whack him. Whack him until he bleeds. Took you 5 hits to do bleed damage.
Yeah, that's about the amount of time it takes for most weapons.
For me, it takes 3 hits. Because I'm a beast. I'm a bleed
You
beast.
probably have a lot of arcane.
I do. I have 22 arcane.
I have more than that.
Well, it's probably because my sword does a lot of damage. Hey, you got a crystal tear. Go under the bridge. There should be a dude around here somewhere who's like half-buried big monster man. You'll just see like what looks like a metal giant half-lay like buried in the sand type deal.
There's no sand.
You know what I mean? The earth, the place, the land.
Oh, I'm being invaded.
Oh yeah, that happens when you come over here. That should be easy. I think he's got a weapon that does a lot of damage, like a hammer or something. Oh, it's this recusant. No, he's easy. He's a little weak bitch. Mint and Bird cooking while Trixie and Riley are blindfolded and get fed by a spoon to try and guess what it is.
I mean, I think they're just gonna eat the food, but that's a fun idea.
Parasara with 420 is
Nice.
bleed cheesing in Elden Ring. Discuss. I
don't think so.
think
Status
that-
effects are part of the game.
Yeah, I mean, if we're defining cheesing as like
Cheesing is like cheating to win.
yeah, if we're I wouldn't say it's cheesing in that sense, in the way that like when you the biggest cheese that you've done in your run is like there's one enemy that you can see from a ledge.
That's
like,
not even a cheese though. Like
this
that's
is
a
the guy.
regular
Hit that
mob.
guy. I think that guy comes to life, or
Who?
maybe it's another one that's like it. This on the ground here.
He does not come to
no,
life.
but there's one like this that comes to life somewhere around here. There it is. No, those are the guys. Those are little slug firemen, but he should be around this area. Yeah, like I think I don't know if the game seems like it was designed to have that attribute, then it's not cheesing. I think what will really like when I play with the bleed, I can't help but think they're going to patch this and weaken it somehow. Like
I don't think they would. It
they
would
might
cheapen
not,
it too
but
much.
It's just that they've done a lot of that with the other games. Like each of the games, when it comes out, usually people find a pretty optimal strategy, and then they usually will tweak it a bit, particularly for PvP. But like, I don't know if bleed is considered to be OP for the
Do you
intentions.
see the
they
guy?
were
Is
going
that
for.
it? Is it
He
all?
might be under those fiery slugs or something. Like maybe he'll come up when you attack them. I don't remember. I just know that there's a fiery guy, giant man, who comes up here. But yeah, so like I don't know. It feels like cheesing because it makes the game so easy for me, but like.
But you do a bleed build or you do a strength build.
Yeah, like I am a bleed strength build, so like that's the point. Like you know, it's it's not like I have this amazing ability and also a bunch of other abilities. You know, it's like I built myself to be able to do this one thing extremely well.
Okay, I really don't see this guy you're talking about. Are you sure it's not somewhere else?
I just know he's in this general area, but you know, this area is huge. It might be that he's on that lower. Did you see how it kind of continues down? Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean?
Yes,
Okay.
I looked at it on the map. I was just looking. So that thing, you think he's on this?
Maybe,
here.
Possibly.
How do I get down here?
Probably.
Do I just jump? Oh, okay.
Yeah, there you go. It's just no.
This seems like a boss fight area.
Somewhere in this whole area, there is a boss half buried in the ground. That looks like it could be. No, it's a plant. It'll definitely be like it's distinct enough that you can tell it's not like one of the things that's just dead. You know, you'll be like, oh, that one looks like it could maybe come to life. I don't remember.
This thing?
That is it. That's the guy. Yeah. The one that looks like it's alive.
This isn't a boss.
Well, it's another big giant man. Since you're at night, there are some bosses that only show up at night. There's one that shows up on the bridge nearby where all the soldiers are.
By the bridge?
Yeah, like when you head east from the soldier encampment, then you cross a bridge. Yeah, you see that?
Here?
Yeah, that bridge. There's like a knight rider or whatever who shows up here.
Oh, Knight's Cavalry?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's still night, even though you teleported. That's or is it? I can't tell. I can't tell if this is morning. Biggity 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 boom. Oh, oh. Sail up Mount Fuji.
Sail?
Sail!
Bow, 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 bow. Prince Moon.
Biggity biggity biggity. You have to say things while I do this.
Yeah, sure. So I've been recovering from the worst disease on planet Earth lately. I will not say what it is because, you know, YouTube doesn't like when you say what it is. But it's the one. It's the one that everyone has been freaking out about. It's that one. I'm recovering from that one. And, you know, first day, it was not fun. I had a really bad headache. I had a really bad backache. And my stomach kind of hurt. I never actually threw up because of it. But, you know, it wasn't great. I called out of the mountain because of it. And so the next day I had the off, so I just slept. And, you know, today, B's uncle comes in and is like, hey, here's some tests for the disease, you know, the one. That guy, you know, the guy. And so I take it, and it's like, oh, wow, what do you know? I have it. And then I think, wait a second, I have it. And it's like, but I wanted this to be way worse, you know? And I'm very lucky it was not worse, but it was just kind of, for all the hype, you know, I was expecting more, if that makes sense. It was like Dick Masterson describes as like not a sickness you've necessarily felt ever before. I would say the closest thing I can relate it to is just the flu. And honestly, most of the time I was feeling sick, I did just think I had the flu. But yeah, it was. I would rate it in terms of like out of 10 on the sickness scale. I would say it was probably like. I mean, obviously, 10 being an enjoyable sickness, which I guess there aren't many. But I put it like a 5, Solid 5. 3-day experience. It's not that bad. I see there is a super chat. I would like to inform you that Trixie has stepped away for a moment, so she will not be able to read that right now. But as soon as she is back, I'll make sure she does. Wow, speak of the devil.
I'm the devil. CJ makes videos. Canadian $5. Hello, Trixie. Glad I caught one of these streams live. Could you please rant about Kusamega and if that series will continue? It will.
Wow.
As a matter of fact, I don't want to say too much, but I literally just read through all of it again, and like did a lot of little edits to it. Nothing that would probably be noticeable to people unless they've read it like obsessively, which I don't think anybody has. But
Oh,
yeah,
shit.
just like lots of minor adjustments and corrections and stuff to make it read a little smoother. Mostly so that I could familiarize with myself with the story well enough to continue writing it. Because Kusamega is somewhat complicated. It has a lot of moving parts. It gets especially complicated when you get to Volume 3, which the preview for that is no longer online. So I don't know if you've heard it before, but there was the like hour-long preview of Volume 3 was like all I had written of it for a very long time. So, you know, I was rereading it all so I could get caught up and remember.
Who the hell is yelling at me saying, "Oi, you there?" Here.
It's the rat boy. He's disguised as a bush. So over there by the trees, turn right, the opposite direction. Over there. There's like a bush. Head that way. No. God damn. You fucking move so much. Go over there, that red tree, that little red bush, that fern. Smack that. That's him.
What'd you go and do that for?
Alright, but yeah, Kusamega's continuing for sure. I have every intention of finishing it. I want to see it end. It's probably my favorite creative thing that I've made, like in terms of being of decent quality and like something I think can be shown to people and they can be like, wow, this is like a story. And I'd like to see it through to the end.
I love that story. It's a lot of fun.
Thank you. There was some comment I wanted to read that I had seen before I... Oh yeah, Lady Akemi said, "Hey Trixie, I hope you're doing well today." I am. Doing alright. Doing solid. I've made $68.26 on this live stream in the course of 2.5 hours. So that's like, you know, once you take out the third that YouTube takes for their revenue and then you split it between the two of us.
I don't count as having been paid for these streams.
Alright, then I'm trying to like figure out the hourly rate. The point is that it's above minimum wage, and that's satisfying enough
Is
for
it?
me. I think so, right? It just went up to
It's not if
77,
you include both of us, is it?
I have to break out a calculator. Give me a minute. Melody 2 is $7. Says strangest / most memorable psychedelic experience. Plus, do you consider weed a psychedelic or just use it for relaxation and fun? I do consider it a psychedelic, but I think you have to be really fucking high and you have to be on the right weed to get that effect. There was something we had recently that, like, the first time we smoked it, I felt like real trippy. It was like it took me a few hours to get used to that particular high, where I was like, man, this is so weird, and then like I kind of refocused and you know, watched a Sun Tzu quotes video and then like figured out kind of where I was at in my headspace. But like in terms of psychedelia, I haven't had a ton of crazy stuff. Like the most psychedelic experience I've had was doing acid with Zen Huxtable the second time that we did it. Because the first time we just did like a tab each and it was like very light effects. The second time I think we did 2 each, and there's like a period where I just had my eyes closed and I could visualize what to me I assumed was like the pathways of my brain and it looked like a screensaver, like the those old Microsoft screensavers with the tubes, where the tubes just like go in this crazy erratic fashion. But like I was looking at this endless structure of tubes, and like it was this big like it was on the frame of the galaxy. Like I'm looking at like a galactic background, and then just this massive amount of tubes that are all pumping rainbows through them, just like pumping rainbow juice through all these fucking tubes. And I was like, this must be just like the inside of my brain. Like I'm looking at all the stuff moving and like visualizing it. And it was just so insanely massive. Like, you know, I could never imagine a structure as massive as what I saw while on acid, you know? So, like, I wouldn't even know how to represent it visually because it was so big. And, like, you know, the experience is not super dissimilar from, like, looking at a Tool art or something like that, like album art.
A Tool album art.
Yeah, because all the Tool album art is, like, deliberately made to look like DMT trips and stuff like that. So, like, that imagery is, yeah, it's exactly the kind of shit you see and the kind of way that things look. The MGMT music video, When You Die, is also really good. Like, for showing the way that things keep shifting and changing, and then, like, leading into something, like, you know, like, you're looking at something normal, and the less attention you pay to it, the more abnormal it becomes, you know? So, like, I think the times I've experienced acid and psychedelics, it's like I become so obsessed with trying to understand what's happening that it's harder for me to let it happen, you know? So it only can really get so trippy because it's like I'm holding it back from getting too trippy. There was one of the times that we did mushrooms in California where, like, the carpet of the bathroom just seemed like it was swaying in this really happy way that kind of reminded me of, like, the Hare and Goo opening, or, like, you know, just like a Masaaki Yuasa animation. So, yeah, those are probably the most psychedelic experiences I've had. But, like, I would love to have more. Like, it's hard to smoke enough weed for it to be a really psychedelic experience. I'd love to have more open access to mushrooms or acid or something, but it's just not something you can really get easily in Virginia, unfortunately. Yeah, Robert Sora with €2 says, how did you get to know each other?
I moved into her house.
Yeah. I mean, in terms of what we, like, when I moved everyone in, we were very close-knit. It was like we're kind of trying to do everything together to some degree. You might have been the least involved, because it was a lot of, like, me and Riley just planning shit out, having ideas, and then I was also trying to run my own career. You know, when we first met, I was still with someone else, so, like, you know, it was kind of scattershot. And then, you know, we had just talked here and there, and you seemed to think I was really cool, and I thought you were really cool, and I really loved your cooking, for one thing, because you would cook for us, and I was like, okay, this is like I felt really excited at the thought that someone who could cook this well was going to be sharing a living space with me, because it was like nothing I'd ever experienced before. And then we just have a lot of philosophical similarities. Like, we don't have a lot of the same interests per se. We can get into the same kind of things. Obviously, we both love Elden Ring, so that's pretty helpful. Yeah, but, like, for the most part, like, it's more about the attitude with which we approach people and the world, and, like, the way that we look at people that's similar. And you know, I at the time was spending a lot of time with a person who kind of acted like they saw things that way, but really doesn't, and none of their other behavior would suggest that they ever did. Whereas you and I, it was kind of like an instant recognition of, like, oh, this is somebody who I can respect because of the way they treat people or look at people or talk about people, you know. So yeah, I think that's probably how I would characterize us, like, coming to like each other, is, like, you know, we both thought the other person was cool, and we expressed that. And then once my relationship was over, and I was like, well, this guy thinks I'm cool, like, I think he's cool. Let's see if that can work, you know. And at first, I wasn't sure if you were interested because I thought you would have just gone for it right away. Like, and so I wasn't completely convinced you were going to be into me. But then, it didn't take that long. So, and then yeah, we just lived together from that point forward.
And the harem begins.
I was very. It was also like I wanted to get you off the floor because you were sleeping on the floor in another room, and I was like, you know, you can like share my bed with me, and like we can, you know. So.
I was sleeping on the floor. I forgot about that.
Yep. Do you still have that wall carpet?
Oh, I know what the tapestry.
Yeah, the tapestries. I still have the tapestries. I don't know where they are. I have everything. It's all in storage. In a shed, rather. The next goal in our lives is to get our own place, and then I can finally decompress all the shit I have, figure out what I do and don't want, sell all the stuff I don't want, put all the stuff I do want up in our new house, and then, you know, not have to think about that anymore. The Knights Cavalry.
This is a different one too.
Yep.
I just randomly came across him.
Oh, I see. Yeah, I was gonna tell you to go to this one next.
Oh, funny.
I love MGT When You Die. It is a really good song. When you die, words don't mean anything. It's permanently night. And I won't feel anything. We'll all be laughing with you when you die.
Alright, you feel like being done?
Sure. If you're done, I'm done.
Yeah, I gotta go to bed soon.
Oh, that's right. It's already 6 o'clock. Well, everybody, the Birdman is early to bird and early to word.
Bird.
So the bird's the word, and you heard the word right here. We'll give it a couple minutes in case anybody has something they dyingly want to super chat for some reason before this is
a couple
over.
minutes.
Well, you know, because they're not even going to hear us talking about ending the stream until like a minute from now.
Fair.
So, you know, we gotta give them time. We gotta give them time to get their shit together and be like, oh, fuck, I didn't know it was gonna end. I've been just burning. I've been holding on to this money that I meant to spend. But I didn't yet. I don't know why. But now that I know the stream is ending, I feel this sudden rush, this sudden urge, this, oh, what if they never stream again? What if this is the
Did you
only
ever grind
chance? What
weed?
if they get hit by a car tomorrow? No, I did not, because I went to get more, and I forgot to grind it. Good night. Oyasumi. So long. Farewell. Auf Wiedersehen.
Good night.
Wink with both eyes.
A blink.
Blink continually. Dreaming of that face again that's bright and blue and shimmering.
What face?
No, that face.
Which one?
The one with 3 eyes.
Hey, have you ever been here? In the ailing village?
I have, yes. It's
oh,
not
they're
super
ailing because
exciting,
they're crazy.
unfortunately. There is not a boss, but like a big rat in a church you can kill to get I think some kind of flask upgrade or something. I hope you keep streaming because it is fun to super chat. Well, I will be streaming more other times, for sure, because it's fun to receive super chats. I think we're done. I think everybody's heard that we're ending. Nobody's got burning money, cindering their fingers, singeing their palms, dying to leap from light